Wait, Dad. Dad.
What?
Really?
What?
You're your father's child.
Can we take out the ice cream?
Not right now.
Cream.
All right, you two deal with it, though. I'm not dealing with it.
Or on.
Leg cream?
Shh, just go. Go have some.
Beer?
He's really pissing me off.
Leg cream?
Shh, just go. Go have some. Well, delete it. He's really pissing me off.
You can't.
Yeah, you can. If you're on desk.
So I wonder why that doesn't work.
Is that the new logo? Yeah.
The computer camera works.
No, you're not sitting here. You're just
Kyle,
go.
Kyle, go.
Why? I'm too beautiful.
Go get a chair for over there.
I wonder why that doesn't work.
I'm probably gonna be jumping all over anyway.
Just go. I'm gonna go to sleep.
I'm trying to see if there's
You're not gonna ice cream unless you get off.
a live chat.
John Cena ice cream.
Go. Ryan, your dad needs your help, and Belle's at the door. Kyle, go get her.
No, I'm good.
Go get the dog.
She literally jumped out the door over there. And then I was throwing.
Chat is disabled for this. Oh, hold on. Sorry, guys. Hang on a minute.
I'm gonna put these both on the side.
Okay.
Because I know we can use these, whatever it's called.
So it looks like chat's disabled. I don't know why. I'm gonna fix that.
Mine got
What?
ice cream.
What's that?
Ah, here we go. Enable live chat. Hang on.
Go.
Dude, go.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, Kyle, turn the sound off on that.
Where's the controller?
All right, now we're good. All right, so it says 8 people are watching.
Even though it's probably not true.
You want to go now?
I'm joking. It probably is true.
Me.
Wait, earthquake.
Live control room. All right, guys. Say something in the chat if this is working. I think it is. You might have to refresh your screen for the chat to work. So if you have to refresh your browser, and then the chat should work.
Two Donald Trumps with. I need to refresh my mind.
John Cena.
No, that's on the other team. Donald Trump and Donald Trump with English stylish, I believe.
I thought you were doing
So it
hangouts.
says, oh, here we go. Hey, debt-free homesteaders, how's it going? All right, so it's working. So let me go put something in the chat. There, hang on. There it is. So I'm going to paste a link to the Google Hangouts in the chat. So if anyone wants to join, click on that link and you should be able to join us.
Look miserable. It's so delayed.
Well, if for some reason that camera is not working. Northwest Sawyer. Grizz. Debt-free homestead. Took a minute. I had to close out and come back 3 times. Sorry about that.
Why is it?
That was my fault.
Let's get rid of the picture. It looks miserable.
Des?
Yeah. Or at least get it up to speed.
Oh, that was. If it was on that camera, it would work.
It says slow mo is on.
That's for chat.
Oh.
It says slow mode is on. Oh. Let me see if I can fix that.
Slow mode means they can't take back fast.
Oh, go.
I know how to fix slow mode. Dad.
Don't worry about it. I got it.
Hey, Mike and Stacey.
Hey,
Hi.
Grizz. How's it going?
Oh, pretty good. Just a second here. I got to close the other page down so I'm not using so much bandwidth here. I wanted to wait until I got on here before I closed it down, though.
Slow mode there.
Okay, there we go. Let's see here. Hey, Northwest. Cool. Slow mode is off. Yeah, sure. You turn that off when I don't have to type anymore.
I'm trying to figure out how to get this other camera to work. I don't know why it's not working.
Have you tried OBS?
That's what we're using.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we normally use an external camera, which works a lot better than the one we have.
It's working now.
But this camera is a little bit more fuzzy, but at least it's working.
Oh, yeah. You know, well, you probably don't need it, but I do. And actually, I'm saying I had to say hi to Debt Free and Northwest Sawyer.
Hey,
Um,
Beaver, how's it going?
Fireman TV puts out a really good tutorial on how to set up OBS and everything. Now, I don't think you probably you're smart with that stuff, but this tutorial was sure helpful for me.
Mike Lamar says, wow, the new sign is tough as hell. I had to strip down nude just to get in. I'm not going to try that.
No, thank you.
I figured everyone would appreciate that. So how's the weather out there?
Oh man, that's nice. It's going to be nice weather up through Tuesday, possibly Wednesday, and then we got some more rain coming.
Wow.
But even then, it's not bad. It's just going to be showers. It's not going to be, hard rain or nothing like that. 30, 40, 50% chance of showers.
Yeah,
So,
our showers are now all snow.
yeah, no, we get very little snow here.
Wow.
My biggest deal is I've put up so far about 3 cord this year, and I got to get another 3 cord before we get too much rain. Actually, if I get another 1.5 cords, I know that I can still throughout the winter be able to put it up fast enough before we burn it up and get it to dry.
Yeah, we burn about 8 to 10 cord a winter.
And you're probably burning hardwood.
All hardwood, yeah.
Oh, see, and I burn mainly softwood, but I burn about 6 cord. That tells you the difference of our winters.
Yeah, wow. I don't know. For some reason, I always thought, even though it's on the West Coast, on being on the north part, I always thought it was like the winters would be similar, but I guess not.
Well, further up north,
Canada.
well, yeah. I mean, getting up to Vancouver to Canada and stuff. and maybe just a little bit further inland. But yeah, you got the Atlantic Ocean, which is a lot colder ocean than what we got, I believe.
Mike Lamosse says we have 19 inches of snow. That's crazy.
He's at mid 10 inches.
Oh, 10. Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
That's still quite a bit of snow.
Yeah, we only get about, I don't know, 7 inches here. But that was enough. I don't know if you heard earlier, but Stacey parked her car up by the house, and she went out to let the dogs out, and she opened the door, and she looks out, and the car was literally sliding down our driveway as she was looking out the door. She's screaming.
Oh, wow.
She's screaming like, the car. And I'm like, what's wrong with the car? And I look outside, and the car is going down the driveway backwards by itself. And it was skiing down the driveway backwards, and it backed right into my truck. And it put a big dent into the bed of my truck and the back of her car. And I'm like, okay, I guess we don't park the car there anymore.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that last year. You got that hill out there that you got a steep driveway.
Yeah, it happened. Was it last year? It happened last time.
Yeah, but it didn't make any damage the last time it happened.
Yeah, the last time it happened, we were in the house. We didn't know what happened. And then she looked outside, and she's like, "Did you move my car?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Well, my car's not out there anymore." And I look out, and I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, "Where's your car?" And I look down at the bottom of the driveway, and it's down there. And I'm like, "Oh." And at least last time there was like a log in the way, so it kind of just stopped the car at the wheels, and it didn't do anything. But this time, her car slid into the side of mine, and this time it did a little bit of damage. But
it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
With the Honda, it did.
Sounds to me like you need to drill a hole in the ground and put an anchor post in there with a cable and a hook.
That right?
So when you pull your vehicles on up, you can just hook up, so if it starts sliding backwards, you're safe.
Well, it's funny because I thought the new skid steer that I had would have been better in the snow with the tracks, and I have snow tracks on it, and it's better in the snow. But when the snow's packed down, or if you have ice, it still slides down a hill just like a car with tires. And so I actually just ordered a set of snow studs for skid steer tracks. So
wow,
they're supposed to hopefully be here in a few days, and when they do, what you do is you drill them into the tread of the tracks, and so they go into the tracks about 1 inch deep, and they stick out with these little carbide tips, and they basically stud your tracks. And so that should make a huge difference, because then I'll have, like a 10,000-pound machine with tracks with studs in it. And at that point, if it's still not good, I don't know what else to do.
Well, I'm just wondering, how is that going to do on the pads, and how much does it cost? If you start tearing up the pads by doing that, is that going to be worthwhile financially if you have to replace those pads every couple of years from doing that? Or
well, from what I was reading about the studs, it actually says it doesn't wear the track down at all, and it
doesn't damage the pads.
What's that?
It doesn't damage the pads at all.
The pads on the tracks?
Yeah.
No, it says
it has rubber pads on the track, don't it? It's a metal track with rubber pads or something like that.
No, it's actually a 100. It's all rubber tracks.
Okay.
Yeah, and so you actually drill the studs right into the. It's 100% rubber track, so you drill them into the tread of the track. So you're supposed to measure the thickness of the tread, and then it's supposed to. You order the studs based on the thickness of your tread, and up to 30 millimeters, which is a little more than 1 inch. And so I measured the thickness of the tread, which the tracks I have is the thickest tread you can get. And so the tread is about 1.5 inches thick. I ordered the 30 millimeter studs. And so you drill them into the threads, and they will not pull out. And then when you can actually take them out in the spring if you want. So when you run them in the summer, you don't have to run your studs, and you can still just run your regular rubber tracks without the studs in them, and it doesn't hurt the tracks itself, because it's just kind of going into the rubber, which pulls into itself, and it basically, like, you know, adheres to itself. And then when the next fall, you just put them right back into the same place. And so it's supposed to not cause any harm. But what's that?
I would think that would be better that way.
Yeah. Northwest Sawyer says my tractor has
I just read what Mike said.
My tractor doesn't have a stud in the seat. It has a big lump in the seat.
Tractor has too.
But yeah, this machine it's before I had, as you guys saw, I had that big 15,000-pound backhoe, and I had the smaller skid steer. This machine more than replaces both of those machines. And it does everything that both of them can do and more. And
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah, it'll go. I mean, it's like a tank. It'll go right up the hill, right through the back of the woods, between the trees, like either one of those machines could never do. And it weighs twice as much as the skid steer I had before, and it has more than twice the power, lifting power. So I can pick up logs that weigh 4,000 or 5,000 pounds and then drive up a hill with them without any issue. So it's I'm definitely really happy that I made this purchase. Definitely made a big decision.
No traction.
Mhm.
No traction. Yeah. But
You're
yeah.
gonna get the wood stove fixed.
Oh yeah, the wood stove. So yeah, we have 2 wood stoves, one in our basement, one in the living room. And so we started burning this year in the living room, and the wood has been burning really fast without generating a lot of heat. And so she's like, this is weird. Like, we load the wood stove, and like 3 hours later it's burnt out and it's not warm. And so
Oh, wow.
I just let it burn down. And then I cleaned the wood stove out, and I took it apart, and I took the baffle out of it. And I found the baffle, when you drop the baffle down out of the wood stove, there's a gasket that goes around that baffle, and the gasket was worn out and falling apart, and the air was just blowing up behind it. So because the gasket was pretty much shot, all the heat was blowing out of the chimney. And actually, it was funny because I was out in the yard working with one of my neighbors. He was helping me level my sawmill, and he was looking at my chimney. He's like, there's a lot of heat blowing out of your chimney. And I'm like, yeah, I never noticed that. And I thought I must have never noticed it. But then when she said, you know, the wood was burning faster than normal, and I'm like, something must be weird. And so the gasket is completely shot. So I took the baffle out. I got it in the garage, and I ordered a new gasket and some gasket cement for the wood stove. And so I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna grind down where the gasket goes in and put a new gasket in and cement, and then put it back in, and it should fire really nice once that's done. So I might do a video on how I do that. I don't know if it might help someone, but definitely, you know, it's like that sort of thing that you have to kind of pay attention to sometimes. It's like how the air flowing through the wood stove is kind of a big deal. I might do a video on how I do that. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Not bad.
How's it going, Mike?
Not too shabby yourself, Chris.
Not too bad.
Holding my own because nobody else will.
Yep. How's it going?
We're living. We're alive and well.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
On your tube page, you need to mute the volume on there, or your mic is too close or something. We get feedback from you.
What? I'm too far away from my mic, or my mic is too far away from me?
No, we hear you fine. Picking up the noise from I'm hearing us talk back on a delayed speech.
Yeah, so if you're watching the video, if you go back to the YouTube video and mute it.
How's that? Any better?
I'm hearing that talk back.
How's that? Any better?
Yeah, so if you're watching the video,
Still doing it.
if you go back to the YouTube video and mute it.
Delayed on our end.
No, it's he's watching the video that we're in.
Any better?
So if you mute the video that you're watching.
How's that? Any better? Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Shut mine off?
There we
Oh,
go.
there you go.
Yep.
That did it.
Perfect.
Yeah, I see you nodding your head, but I can't hear what you're saying now because mine's muted.
Oh no.
Can you guys use hand signals? I am slow, you know.
Can you hear me now?
Little man.
What was his name? You can hear me now. Can you guys use hand signals?
Oh yeah.
I am
So
slow.
if you actually go to your browser where the YouTube video is that we're on, if you go to the lower left corner, there's like the volume. If you turn the volume all the way down on the video, then that will fix it.
Is he on Hangouts?
Yeah.
Sort of.
But he probably also has the video playing on YouTube. So if he goes to YouTube and just turns that volume slider all the way down, it'll mute the volume on the video.
Well, Mike,
Yep.
Yeah.
you have mute up here, I believe, on the. Yes, we don't have.
I'm having all kinds of fun.
I guess we can't control it in Hangouts, can we? The volume.
I don't think so, but I think it's more like he's playing the live stream in the background, which is then playing back through the microphone. Oh,
But when he shuts that off, then he can't hear us.
but he'll hear us through the Google Hangouts.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the actual live stream on YouTube.com and you turn the volume down on the live stream, you'll still hear us through Google Hangouts. So you don't want to mute the volume on your computer, just mute the volume just on the live stream on YouTube.
Say something.
Testing.
Something.
Oh, I still can't hear you.
Yeah, let me see if I can share my screen to show you. There we go.
I can hear myself repeating.
So I'll show you on my screen. So
Oh, shit.
I'll show you on my screen what I'm talking about. So if you go to, this will take a minute to load up. So I'm going to go to the live stream.
I can hear myself repeating.
So you probably are looking at this at one point. It's somewhere on your computer. You're looking at the live stream. And so you have the volume here. And the volume is playing back through your computer, which is playing back through your microphone. If you mute this, if you click right here and mute it, it will remove the echo.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and also, Mike, you might show him how to pop out the chat, and then he can just close that page on down, and not even.
Yeah.
All I got to do is figure out how to get them.
Yeah. So if you're looking at the live stream like
Here
this,
we go.
so you got the mute. If you mute that, that's one big thing. On the other thing, if you go over to the right where the chat is, you see the 3 dots here. If you click on that, there's an option that says pop out chat, and it creates a separate window. Then you can kind of move that around, and then you can click back to your Hangouts window, and then you can go back and pull out your chat, so you can be looking at your Hangouts window.
Hey, Mike, you need to lock the picture on you because you keep on blinking in and out on us.
Oh, can you see us now?
He left.
Oh, whoop. Okay.
Hey, back. Come on back, Mike. Come on back. I have a feeling he closed the whole page out. He probably had more than one window open.
That's,
So he closed out his Google Hangouts and the YouTube chat.
Person talks, it goes to that person's.
oh, I know. Yeah.
So that's probably why it's glitching for some people.
Ryan.
Yeah. Wonder if he might be trying to reload it.
Ryan.
Were you just eating something chocolate?
Yeah.
You have chocolate on your face. So yeah, Mike, it looks like you dropped off and you might have closed out your window.
Not sure what I've done.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah,
Can
but
you hear us?
am I still echoing?
Can you hear us now?
Yeah, Mike, it looks like you
Yeah, I'm hearing something in the background.
closed out your.
Yeah.
I closed out my window.
Not sure what I've done. Oh, you're back.
Hey, Mike, show them all over again, but this time lock the picture on you.
Can you hear us now?
I can hear both of you.
Yeah, I'm hearing something in the background.
All right, we'll try this.
I closed out my window.
All right, so this is the live stream. And so if you're watching the live stream
Picture's still not locked on you, Mike.
locked on me,
Yeah, you need to click you need to lock the picture so the camera doesn't bounce back and forth between all of us.
oh, okay, I see. I know what you're saying.
Still not locked on you, Mike.
I'm not sure how to do that. I'm gonna try to figure it out.
Yeah, you need to lock the picture for always. Just click on the picture on you down there in the bottom corner.
Like,
Oh, okay. I see. I know what you're saying.
I got a picture here on mine all the time now.
I'm not sure how to do that. I'm trying to figure it out.
It looks like you're on on Hangouts, Mike.
Is that
I don't
better?
know where the hell I am.
Because right here, right down here, I'm doing a screen share now. You just click on one of these three pictures, and that locks that individual screen on up. So I can lock on you, and that's all you're going to see is what's on your camera.
How's that? Is that better? Did I do that right?
No, I'm still seeing Mike.
Oh. Click on this. I thought I had it. It shows it highlighted.
Oh, I'm in here.
Mike. I think you highlighted it on Mike.
Oh. All right, how's this? Is that better?
Still on Mike. Well, you know what, Mike?
Yep.
Hey, Mike, you can do the same thing with your cursor. Go to Mike Dillon's woodshop name and just click on his, and that will lock your screen where you see my picture won't pop up.
How is that?
That's it.
There we go. Okay. So if you're looking at your live stream, just like this, if you're in a browser and you're looking at your live stream, if you look down here, you'll see your volume. And you'll see this little picture of a speaker here. And if you click on it, you'll be able to mute it. Like right now, I just unmuted it, So it's going to keep playing the sound, which is going to play out into my speakers and back through my microphone, which is going to create an echo. But if I mute it,
I get echoes from all of you.
what's that?
Right now, I just unmuted it. So it's going to keep playing the sound, which is
Yeah, so you want to mute this, which will eliminate that echo. I hope that hopefully that helps. But
echoes from all of you. Yeah, so you want to use this to eliminate that echo.
hopefully that makes sense.
You're back.
Well, I think I can live with it. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
No, yeah, I don't think it's
Hear everybody good.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that bad.
Did you ever see me? I must
As long as it doesn't bother you, Mike.
Yeah, no, it doesn't bother me. No.
No, I mean the other Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Emma for the Woodland Mills thing with the demo girls.
I did. Yeah, I submitted to you.
Oh, did we get accepted?
Yeah, they do it every Monday.
Oh, so have I had a Monday yet?
Not yet. So can you hear us, Mike?
Oh, loading.
Hey, locked and loaded. How's it going?
He says he feels like he just took a hit of acid.
Must be a television. Woo.
To share?
Oh, Mike, stop.
Yeah, she doesn't like when I act a little kooky.
Wait, there's tractor man's on too. Mike,
Hey, Tractor Man.
Tractor Man 44, how's it going? Good to see you.
wait, what's going on here?
Yeah. That's why I was doing the whole.
You know, you was talking about moving the logs around with your skid steer. I got to tell you about moving the logs around with my tractor the other day. I went up, picked up a big old cedar log. It was about 36 inches on the stump. When I picked it up, of course, the front end didn't come up. You know, the load didn't come up. All that come up was the back end of the tractor. I had it about 1.5 feet off the ground, but I had traction on the front tire, so when I started backing up, it was moving and it was all the way around with the back end all the way up in the air. I swung around at a 90-degree angle, I dropped the bucket back down so the tires would be, and I was able to drag the log right to where I wanted. I had to steer it by lifting the ass end up off the ground.
Oh, yeah, it's scary when you pick some of them big logs up sometimes. When I had my last skid steer, I picked up a large oak log, and I dropped my skid steer face first right into the hill, and it pretty much like trapped me. And so I had to crawl out of it and go get my backhoe and lift the skid steer back up again.
Well, you know, with those skid steers, now I ran them quite a bit with those skid steers. If you do that tipping motion like that, it works you a lot more than like my tractor. It's a smoother motion on that tipping forward and back, like what you're saying. So it doesn't bother me on the skid steer, man. I tell you what, you have to let go of all the controls and grab for your life. And as soon as you let go of the controls, it makes it jump that much harder.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
It's but with what worries me on the tractor is if I don't get dead center, if I get a little bit off of it gets really tippy sideways.
Oh, sideways, yeah. Yeah, the skid steer is more like front and back, or at least for the smaller skid steers. It can go either way. And smaller skid steer, if you lift too much up in the front, you'll drop face first into the ground. And so that happened with me. I had the forks and I lifted up a red oak log and I started going forward and the whole thing tipped. And I went face first with the oak log and the forks right into the ground and actually ended up putting my foot out of the front window and like I was standing on my one foot and I'm looking down, sitting in my seat, like, okay, the ground's right there.
Oh, yikes.
I crawled out of it and I went and got my backhoe and I grabbed onto it with the backhoe bucket and I pulled the whole skid steer back up again. And yeah, that was scary. And the other thing that happens with the skid steer is most all skid steers are always back heavy because they have a lot of power, but they don't have a lot of weight. So they put a lot of weight on the back so you can pick a lot up in the front. And hydraulic power is stronger when the machine is heavy. So all the weight on the back. So if you try to drive uphill with a skid steer, since all the weight is back here, sometimes you tend to flip backward. And so sometimes when I was going uphill with that wheeled skid steer, the front end would come off the ground and you'd start feeling like you're gonna go over. And so you have to back up quickly before you tip over. But with this new machine with the tracks, you don't have that problem. It's much better balanced. It's a lot heavier, and I can pick up a 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 pound load and drive right uphill with it with no problem. So
Now, what brand did you get a skid steer?
I go to Bobcat.
Bobcat? Okay.
Yeah, I go to.
Yeah, so
it had 9 hours on it when I bought it, and it's a tracked Bobcat, and it's amazing. Yeah, they were really trying to sell it because they were about to buy it because it was a dealer. It was a dealer, so they were selling it through Bobcat. After a period of time, when it gets certain period close to the next year, the dealership has to buy any inventory they have left. So they had that one sitting on the lot that they've had since March, and they were getting scared because they were going to have to cut a check to Bobcat. And only
Northwest is calling you amateur.
what's that?
But
Still on talking to that guy?
yeah, I'm talking to a couple of them, or trying to.
Hey, Mike.
Um,
Oh, amateurs. Yeah.
Yeah, the Bobcat, that you operate the bucket with your feet.
So this machine, it's actually a lot of the control. Everything's controlled by computer, so you can actually flip a switch, and you can control things by your foot and your hand controls, or you can do everything with the hand controls. You flip a switch and it switches in different modes. So depending on how you want to control it, you can change the computer to do different things.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's way more high tech than any vehicle I own.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a radio. It's got a phone charger in it. You can hook your phone up to it and play sound from your phone through the stereo system in the system. It's got heat, air conditioning.
Heat will be good though.
Yeah, it's got all the lights are through like push button, touch screen. It's crazy.
Did they have a hot coffee dispenser?
Not yet, but there's probably an option for that. You can probably put like a Keurig machine right in it, like make espressos while you're running your machine.
Yeah, I wish I could afford something like that, but being it's just hobby stuff for me, there ain't no way that I could afford nothing like that.
Just because I could, the other night I was plowing my driveway in shorts. I was like, I'm gonna heat my cab up of the machine, and then I'm gonna go out in my shorts. I'm gonna sit in it, close the door, and I'm gonna sit in there with the radio and the heat. I'm just gonna plow the driveway. But yeah, one of the reasons I figured I can afford it is like a lot of people around here are always looking for earthwork to be done, like excavation and that sort of thing. And so I got the machine, and I figure if I could spend like a day or two a month working the machine for other people, it'll make the payment. And I've already have enough work booked for the next few months that's going to cover the next few months of payments, like within the first like day that I started advertising it.
Oh, cool. The
Yeah.
Tractor Man says it ain't shit though if you can't watch YouTube in it.
Right. And you can do.
Oh wow.
You know what's funny? It actually has like a satellite thing inside of it, so you can actually monitor the health of your machine. It'll actually alert you when you're low on hydraulic fluid, when you need to grease your machine, when it's due for service. And it actually also alerts Bobcat, and Bobcat will call you and say, hey, your machine's at 50 hours. We need to come out and service it. Like it's
Wow.
it's like OnStar for Bobcat. It's crazy.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. But I've been able to book enough work that if I can like do 2 or 3 days a month of work with the machine, it more than covers the payment. And so just as long as I can keep working the machine, it'll pay for itself. And so that's kind of my goal. But I also got such a good deal on it. If it turns out I get to a point where it's not working out that way, I can sell it and be able to pay off what I owe on it. So I'll never be like in the red on it.
Yeah, but you can use this as an advertising bit for the company.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to. I would not have been able to do that.
Yeah.
All right.
See, track machine is the way to go if you can afford it. Mine's an old wheel machine, 1997. Yeah, Track Command. My last machine was a 2005 JCB wheeled machine, and that machine was awesome.
Wait, he said 1997.
1997.
That's not old.
Boof. Yeah, no, for a machine it's really not, but
that's when I graduated high school.
you know, there are machines that are, you know, in the early 1900s, but yeah, the machine that I had was a 2005. It had like a little over 400 hours on it, and that machine was great. But the fact that most of our property is sand, the wheels would just turn and dig itself into a hole, and then it would just be sitting there and the wheels would spin. So it all depends on your terrain and what you're trying to do. So with a wheeled machine where I'm at, I learned very quickly that a wheeled machine was kind of a
you can tear things up really fast with them. And I mean, you can get tracks on the wheeled machines, but the tracks don't last that long either on them, and they're expensive.
Well, and for the machine that I had, unfortunately, or lucky for me, because my luck, that's the way it goes, I bought one of the very few machines that you can't get tracks for. The machine that I got, it was a JCB, which was a one-armed skid steer. The benefit of that is the other side, there's a door you can step out of the side of it, which makes it nice for getting in and out of. But the downside of having that door is the door gets in the way of you putting a track on it. So that machine is not capable of putting a track on it. So you have to run it wheel only. And
oh, wow.
My property, that doesn't work. And the last house we owned, I had a tractor, and I never had a problem with not having tracks. But here, with it being all sand, I realized quickly that the wheels aren't going to work. Even driving my truck in the side yard, I had to get out of the yard quick before I got, like, it was almost like sinking in quicksand. Once the wheels start spitting, you got to figure out how to get out of there before you get stuck permanently. And so once I realized that, that's when I started researching track machines, because they have a bigger footprint, less pounds per square inch, so you got more traction and less pressure on the ground. And it's amazing the difference. Like, I can climb hills like a tank going through the woods. Like it's like,
yeah. But if I hooked up to your skid steer with my little Kubota BX 1860, I'd drag you backwards.
Yeah.
If you put it in neutral and I was pulling downhill.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Hell, it isn't old. I'm a 1951 model, Stacey.
Oh, Tractor Man says, hell, it ain't old. I'm a 1951 model.
Hey, Northwest Sawyer, you know, out here, the farmers, they run the GPS on the farm tractors on out here. So when they're out there working the fields, they're spraying the fields for fertilizer, they're actually reading the grass fields. Now, the Willamette Valley is known for grass seed farming. And what they do is they from the satellite, they scan the field, and then with the tractor, This GPS is telling how much the chemicals to dispense at each section of each area of the field.
We can hire millennials. Not really, they're useless.
No, but the GPS, so with the GPS is working, there's a lot of that stuff happening.
That's awesome. Well, that's why McDonald's is replacing all their millennials with computers.
Yep.
You can take it.
Oh, you don't want to work? Okay, we'll just replace you with a computer.
That's what they're doing. I wonder.
They're doing it with all the McDonald's now.
Yeah.
Tractor Man says, I've got a set of steel tracks for mine this summer at a farm auction. Oh, nice. Yeah, I actually looked into, I wanted to get tracks for my JCB, and I contacted a company about getting tracks for them. They're like, oh, what model skid steer you have? And I told them, and they're like, oh, yeah, you can't get tracks for that. And I'm like, I can't? And they're like, yeah, you look at the door and look at what your wheels are. You can't. And then I looked at it, and I'm like, oh. I'm like, yeah, that sucks. And so that's when when I contacted Bobcat, they brought a demo machine out. And I was like, this is awesome. And they're like, if you want, you can trade your machine in. And of course, whenever you think about trade in, you think you're going to get screwed on it. So I was like, well, how much can you give me on a trade? And when they gave me the price, what they gave me on a trade, I was like, wow, I must have got a good deal on that machine, because they offered me $3,000 more paid for it on trade value.
Ooh.
And I was like, okay. I'm like,
I'll go for that.
Exactly. I was like, let's make a deal. And they gave us like, I don't know, over $10,000 off of suggested retail of the machine itself. So like in the end, it was like a crazy deal. Like it was like a car payment. And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. I'm like, I can't turn that down, because basically, like, after running this machine, I'm like, I'll never have to get another machine ever again with this thing. And it's brand new.
I know the skid steer that we had at work when I was building, I'm big. It was a cat. It was made by a cat. And for some reason, I'm thinking it was like a 910, but it was a skid steer, a tire setup, and the tracks on that, he was having to buy new tracks for like every 2 to 3 years. That's how fast he'd wear them out. And he only run the tracks during the wintertime, when it's nastier weather on out. But the tracks weren't lasting all that well. I mean, only 2 to 3 years worth of. They got used hard, they was used quite a bit, but still. I mean, I don't know what the tracks were. I mean, about somewhere around $5,000 for the set.
Yeah, they told me that these tracks will last about 1,000 hours, and the tracks are about $1,500 for like a standard set of tracks. For the snow tracks, they're like $2,000. But since I probably will only put a couple hundred hours a year maybe on the machine, so I figured 3 to 5 years on a set of tracks. And you can actually buy aftermarket tracks, which makes it cheaper. And I actually ordered a set of studs for the tracks that I have because of the ice and snow. And with the studs in the winter, it'll probably actually extend the life of the track a little bit, because the studs are going to be gripping into the ice and snow more than the rubber on the tracks will be. So I'm hoping 3 to 5 years out of a set of tracks. So, every 5 years, maybe you have to spend $1,500 or so on a set of tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Read that. Millennials are killing me.
Yeah, so Noto shows GPS started in ag work. That I thought that was actually, I met somebody today who told me they have GPS and they have a computer on their snowmobile. They're like, yeah, my snowmobile tells me exactly where I am. It's computer controlled, and it tells me when there's an error in the system they had like a 4-stroke snowmobile, And I was like, that's nuts. Like, and they spent more on their snowmobile than I bought in my last car. Like, are you kidding me?
Oh, wow.
Tractor Man says, "You're killing me, Northwest Sawyer."
We'll read the rest of it.
Well, we had to order a set of 4-inch spacers to set the wheels out to allow for the thickness of the tracks. Yeah, that makes sense.
No,
And then Northwest Sawyer says, "Millennials are killing me." At Tractor Man, I could get $500 for bringing on someone useful, but they don't exist. Sadly, yeah, unfortunately.
They all
Yeah.
feel entitled,
Everyone, yeah, they just,
and they have their own opinion.
it's, yeah, they feel like they're like priceless, and they can't be replaced. And like, well, now nowadays you can be replaced with a computer.
Oh yeah.
Tractor Man says, "I'm with you on that one."
Hi, Craig.
Hey, Craig, how's it going? Craig actually is friends with Corey. Craig,
Our neighbor?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He actually works at Craig's shop doing haircuts.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
He's asking how your storefront is coming along.
Yeah, storefront is a blast. We're having a good time with it. Craig is actually a local guy. I met him through my neighbor. So my neighbor, he's a former Marine. He's always done like haircuts and stuff like that. And so he actually does work for Craig doing haircuts at his barbershop.
Cool.
And yeah, so we got the shop going, and it's a lot of fun. The best part is just like meeting up with people, and people are bringing in the stuff that they're making, and we get to check those things out, and they bring them in, and people come in and look at the stuff they made. And it's a lot of fun, and we get the stuff that we made in there. We get our wood in there, and yeah, it's just everybody who has like-minded interest in the same things just come in and just get excited about the same stuff that we do.
Yeah. In woodworking, you can't have it's never the same.
Yeah, everything woodworking is like always. There's like 100 different ways to work with wood.
Hey, if you ever decide that you want to, like when you're making furniture and you want to burn a design, a picture or something on in there, don't overlook getting one of those old school projectors where you know how they take a picture or something, they put it on the screen, and the light would flare it and shoot it out on the wall, and you can zoom it in, get it as big as you want.
Oh yeah.
Something like that there. So if you have a picture that you want to burn in the wood, you can shoot it on the wall to trace on out onto the wood, you know, whatever you want.
Oh yeah, like old
Like what they had at Systems.
yeah, like the
Back like when we was in grade school.
yeah, like
Oh, yeah.
you'd put like
Little projector that,
thing and it would like project on the wall. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they don't have those anymore.
Oh, we have them.
I've been watching for one of those. I'd like to get one for doing some engravings and stuff for different stuff.
That's a cool idea. Craig says, "Awesome, glad to hear it. I'll try to get down and check it out." Yeah, Craig, definitely come check out the shop. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd love to
You can put a barber chair in there too.
Yeah. Yeah, I need a haircut. I mean, maybe we can trade. I'll give you a slab of wood. You can take a little off the top.
Sorry about that, Tractor Man.
You popped onto my screen and I jumped. Yeah, well, yeah. So you told me about how to lock the screen so it always stayed on me. Well, I just realized that it was staying on us the whole time, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And I saw it was highlighted, so I fixed it. The next thing you popped up, and he's probably like, "What the?"
Yeah, well, gotta look bad with these sitting back here behind me, huh?
There you
Although it looks like I have one and there's three there.
I gotta go get mine.
What?
She's still looking at me like, "Yeah, I don't think so."
Oh, the guns.
The guns, yeah.
The gun? Yes.
You know,
The
this
gun?
is pretty cool. I gotta, maybe you know something about this. If I can grab it. This here, it's just a 22 Mossberg. You know, it's not a big gun.
Nice. Yeah.
See if I can get this up here where you can see it. I mean, that's, you know, there's the, you know, I mean, the wood all the way. It's heavy. It's twice as heavy as my 22 Marlin. You know, it's
Marlins,
not the same length, but twice as heavy.
Marlins are awesome.
But this is the Mossberg. It's, you load the shells right in this slot right here. You know, and it holds like 20 shells on in it. Kind of like the tube magazines where, you know, for the semi-automatic, they have the tube magazine. Well, this is a tube magazine that loads up that way.
Wow.
The scope, I mean, I would like the scope. This is original setup, and it never has had the teeth sights. It's always had the scope. The scope has the black widow hairs in it, and I would like to know how I can have those repaired because they're broke. The black widow hairs on the scope are, you know, I mean, they're shot. So I mean, I can't shoot it. I mean, the gun shoots fine, but you can't aim with it with broke crosshairs. But they take the old black widow crosshairs. They don't use them anymore.
Do you have any local like gunsmiths you might be able to go to that they can?
The gunsmith here, he's hardly ever in there, and he's
Not there anymore.
I got to find a new one. Our gunsmith had serious health issues for several years, and so he hasn't been dependable for me to get any. I've tried information from him, and he had some huge health issues, and never could track it on down for me. No, Chapter Man, none of that. I don't have any Playboy magazines.
What did I miss?
Last comment.
What?
So I'm gonna read down. Tractor Man says Northwest Sawyer, we're just showing off our sensitive side. You know, after all that millennial talk.
That'd be awesome. I'm probably only about 6-8 hours away from you.
Hey, you know what? I gotta go see Craig, and I gotta get the man bun thing going.
Oh no man buns. No man buns.
No, gotta fit in with all the millennials. Get the man bun. And...
Oh.
No way.
Please not, Daddy.
So Kyle's like, please don't. Northwest Source says, I need to come visit you, Grizz. Do a live on location. That would be awesome.
It would be. That would be great if Northwest Sawyer could come up here.
I'd love that. I'd pay to see that. Would be awesome. I would just, yeah, you got to do that.
I can't remember if it was Northwest Sawyer or if it was the other guy that turned me on to using the automatic transmission fluid on the track on the sawmill tracks.
Oh,
before
out of the woods.
Out of the woods.
Yep, Nathan Elliott. Yep.
So that was the guy that did that episode.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I get the two mixed up all the time. I know that. 2 hours away. Oh, that's not far at all.
Oh, so we were talking about magazines, I see.
Yeah, no. I ain't got no Playboy magazines.
Here, let me see if I can pull it. No, no. Let me Google.
You're only 2 hours away? You're only an hour away from Eugene?
Yeah, we're probably like 2 hours from Gene.
No, I mean Northwest Sawyer. He says he's 2 hours away from me, and it's about an hour to Eugene for me.
Oh.
And I know he's south of Eugene.
Yeah, so you're only a few hours from him, and I'm actually only a few hours from Gene Chambers.
Oh wow, cool.
Yep. Yeah, he's over just near the border of Maine, and we're over in New Hampshire, so we're not that far from him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to get together sometime, Sawyer.
You know, actually, I didn't mention it on the channel yet, but I want to do a video talking about it. But I don't know if you guys are familiar with Jay Bates and Sean Stone. They're two kind of big woodworking channels on YouTube. Jay Bates, I think, has like 500,000 followers, and I think Sean Stone's got like 50 or 60,000. And so they're doing a meetup in City Hardwoods in Birmingham, Alabama, on December 8th. And so my work was looking for me to come down there 1 week coming up, and I was like, I think I should come down the week of the 3rd through the 8th. That would be a good week, because my company's headquarters is in Birmingham, Alabama. So I'm like, I should come down that week. And so that Saturday, I'm actually going to go out and meet up with Jay Bates and Sean Stone, and meet up at City Hardwoods and get to meet those guys.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so I'm going to take some pictures and stuff and meet up with them and talk to them. But if you look up Jay Bates and Sean Stone, they get some pretty big channels, and they do a lot of cool woodworking stuff.
Now, man, I'm confused. I was thinking you're south of Roseburg, Northwest Sawyer. Now, 2 hours north of Eugene, you're up. You're getting up there closer to Portland, then. Okay.
Oh, so he's north of you?
Yeah, I was thinking he was south of me. He's probably about an hour away from Salem.
So he must be close to Canada.
That's either east or west of Salem, towards Portland. Not in. That's Decatur. Okay. Okay, I've been to Estacada. That's.
You're saying coordinates and everything.
Let's see here. I got to refresh. That's out towards the coast, I believe.
Tractor Man says, Grizz said he had 2 magazines with his rifles. I know, bad joke.
Oh, yeah, that's where we get the Playboy from.
Oh,
1 magazine, 2 magazines.
How many oh, there's 6 on here.
6 on the live chat.
The people are just watching, not chatting.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been over a month. I just realized that since I've done a regular video.
Oh, yeah. The last time we did a live stream was like Kyle's birthday weekend.
Yeah, last time we did like a regular, instead of me kind of having a few beers in the middle of the night live stream. It's been since the spring.
July.
Yeah.
It was July.
July.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I see where you're at. Now, yeah, I have been through there. Been a long time, though. That's some beautiful country up there.
What's up?
Just right.
It's just right.
But,
Awesome.
yeah, I think it's more like a 3-hour drive by the time you loop around or you come over all the back roads.
Hey, Just Greg, how's it going?
Kyle, stop.
I'm gonna go deal with that first.
No, you're not.
Awesome. Dude, 2 hours. Like, I think it's hard.
Actually, no, it's not a bad way. 224 all the way down to Detroit. I haven't. What's that road like, Northwest Sawyer? Come from Estacada, go out 224 to Detroit that way? I don't think I've ever been through that country.
Old Sawmill Town.
Old Sawmill Town, huh? Man, I got to figure out how I can make a drive one of these days. Go check out your area too. Man, we're going to be a big city compared to you then. We have 4 stoplights.
Oh. Everybody's so quiet.
Yeah, Mike went off and left us, but he left us alone. You know, so well, my wife's still here, so well, never mind.
Gonna go to the bathroom. He has a week back.
You know, you gotta go to the bathroom when you sleep.
Tractor man, beauty sleep doesn't do me any good.
Mm.
Oh.
Sounds like there's a road trip.
Pardon?
Road trip for you.
Oh yeah, I'd love to get up there. You know, I've been in Escade a couple of times, but I haven't been in the area a whole lot. I'd like to check out that area some more, but unfortunately, I'm not. I can only sit in the vehicle for maybe a half hour at a time, and then I have to take a half-hour break. So it makes for a long trip.
Right.
Yeah, if I could bolt this seat in a car in my van to drive it or in a car or something, if I could put this on in there, then I can do the trip because I can sit in this chair for a couple hours at a time, no problem.
Mm.
In the vehicle, I can't do it.
Ben's getting knee replacement on Tuesday.
That don't sound good.
No.
It's good though. A friend of mine just went on in here about 3 days ago. He had to, I don't remember what the procedure is called, but on his knee, they went in there and killed all the nerves so because he had so much pain, he couldn't do anything. And they said that's only going to be good for 6 months to a year. And then he's still facing a knee replacement, but they did the nerves first.
What the hell are you doing?
Went out to pee, wash my hands.
I'll be right back. I got to go grab a beer myself.
No, we're good. Your friend Ben's getting a knee replacement. No, Ben Bro.
Knee replacement. Oh. Yeah, I hear that's gonna be a lot of work.
Work.
Well, a lot of work.
Recovering.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Wait. Now, Northwest Solar says Stacey needs a beer.
I'm not drinking. I had a little too many margaritas on my birthday.
She got some of her drinking out of the way on her 40th birthday. That was entertaining. We should have done that live. That would have been fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. We had fun. It's cool.
What does that say about me, Chuck?
I agree, Northwest Solar. I ain't never seen one a single beauty. Hey, Mark, how's it going? My knee's still swollen from knee replacement a year ago.
Oh no.
Yeah, knee replacement is. I've not had one yet, but I say yet because.
You may be there someday.
Yeah, I've had knee surgery on this knee, and they told me that it's very likely that at some point I'm going to have this knee replaced.
My grandfather had it done, and it was like a month recovery time.
I'm sure I'm going to have this knee replaced, and it probably won't be long before the one after.
It might just.
It's not going to be in the next few years, but it's absolutely going to happen. The cartilage.
My dad had 3 knee replacements on his right knee and 2 knee replacements on his left knee.
Wow.
So back in the day, they only lasted like 10 years at a time. I think they've come a long ways with knee replacements. I think they get a lot more mileage on them than they used to.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I get a friend who had a double knee replacement. He had both knees replaced at the same time.
Bob?
Yeah, Bob.
But he's doing all right with his.
Yeah, he actually told me, he's like, he said, if I didn't have both done at the same time, I wouldn't have had the second one done. Because he said it was such a pain to recover from that if he had one done, he would not have gone back for the other one. So he's like, I'm glad I did both at the same time because I definitely would not have gone back for that same torture.
Well, my dad had a 6-foot redwood log roll over him when he was a teenager, working in the redwoods, and it crushed him in the ground. He was in the squatting position, but it tore up his knee, did a whole bunch of knee damage. So what happened with him is that knee was,
Oh God.
okay, but he was a truck driver, so after years of jumping out of the truck, favoring his right knee, he was jumping on his left knee. Well, he destroyed the left knee, so he had to have the left knee done. Then he started favoring that knee, and destroyed his right knee, for a period of time. And so he was every 4 or 5 years he was have to have another knee replacement, one side or the other.
Somebody said I look 20.
You look
40? Question mark. Thought she was 20.
Locked and Loaded says 40. Thought she was 20. Locked and Loaded, I get some funny looks, and people are always like, hey, I was just talking to your daughter, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's my wife. And they're looking at me weird, like, wait, what?
Going for the younger mom?
That doesn't seem right. And I'm like, no, she's like, we're born the same year. And I'm like, come on.
You just need to go get a haircut.
It's a little gray in my beard and that sort of thing, I guess. I don't know.
About 15 years ago, me and my wife, my daughter were walking through Home Depot, and one of the employees there came running up behind me and says, "Sir, can your 2 daughters have a lollipop?"
I was 40 years old.
Yeah, my wife was 40, so that was close to 20 years old because she's she's 58 now, but so she was like 40 when that happened. But it's like and she's only a year younger than me.
Yeah, same here. So you feel my pain then, Chris?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I wish I had that problem.
All right.
How about when Angela was born and we went to the restaurant?
Yeah.
That's the funniest
We
thing.
haven't seen that Mark's been on.
Trial menu.
We're here.
I don't know.
Stacey,
Yeah.
since the 2 of you have been married, when you guys go out to eat, have they ever tried to give you a child's menu at a restaurant?
No.
No, but she prefers to order off the child's menu because she
They were always when we first got married, the first couple of years, they were always bringing my wife the child's menu.
she likes the child's menu because she likes mac and cheese and she likes chicken fingers and she likes fries. And, so she's like, yeah, I'll get kids menu.
Remember they kept going to my brother asking who was the
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're not keeping up with the chat.
mother.
Because I'm not keeping up with the chat. So
The
Shark
whole
Man says, Benbro, I'll tune in. Be almost like butchering beef. Oh, we're gonna butcher beef. I like that. Mark says, yeah, maybe that with both. He said he had to. Ben says, haha, track man. Northwest, enough old people talk. Oh, sorry, young man. We're talking about old people things.
Old.
Young men like the Northwest Sawyer.
Old.
Actually, if I was to shave my beard off, I would look younger than you, Mike.
Right?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, the beard always helps.
Yeah, it's. I don't my head. I don't have any gray in my hair. It's all in my beard.
Yeah, I got gray on the sides and I got gray right through my beard. So yeah, if I shave my beard completely off, like clean shaven, and then I clean up my hair, like trim it up nice, I look like I'm in my 20s or 30s. But as soon as it starts growing out, I'm like 100.
And I have barely any hair.
Yeah, well, if my wife would let her beard grow on out, you'd see how great it really was.
I much hair. Can't even tell.
Ben Bro says 2 at one time is not a good thing to put your body through. Yeah. Tractor Man, dang guys, my wife would kill me in my sleep if I was talking about her age. Well, I
lock my doors at night.
I can't insult her. I'll have a frying pan right over here. I can't have that. I inflict enough pain on myself.
Right?
But I knew you when you were.
Hello, everyone. Bones is in the house. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris Clark.
Northwest Sawyer says Santa. Hey, yeah, Grizz, you got to play Santa.
No, I'm about to get that son of a you know what. I built a tree stand overlooking my house.
Get the reindeer. Boom, boom.
Whiskey, and I'm going to be up there waiting for Santa, and I'm going to bag that. You know what? I'm going to mount his head over my fireplace, put all of his reindeer in my freezer. This is stew. And I will be a national hero because I'll have put an end to Christmas once and for all.
It's not going to be Chris Kringle. It'll be Grizz Kringle.
How do you think reindeer?
The Grizz that stole Christmas.
The Grizz that stole Christmas.
The crazy man.
The crazy man.
The super fiddle.
Kyle's getting a kick out of it. He's like, I want to see that.
A poem on that. I started writing a poem on that. Maybe I should. That's what I should title it. You know, the Grizz that stole Christmas.
I like it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a nice nursery rhyme out of that. The Grizz.
Oh
yeah. Benbro says, haha, Bone, just talking about my knee surgery. Character Man says, good evening, Bones.
We have 10 people watching.
Got 10 people hanging out with us.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Does Bones do bone work?
Kyle's asking, does Bones do bone work?
Probably not.
Hey, has Northwest Sawyer ever hosted or done a live stream?
I don't believe so.
Hey, Northwest Sawyer, before Wednesday night, you ought to just try doing a practice run. You know, so we're ready to do it on Wednesday night on your channel.
What time are we doing?
Who would play Grizz?
Yeah, me. But Northwest Sawyer, the reason why I say that is the practice run is you got to do it in Hangouts if we're going to have more than one people on here, because if you use this setup here, just a second here, let me show you.
Oh,
if you go up here, right up here where this camera is, you can live stream right from this camera. You can click on that, and upload videos or go live. But you can't invite people to the live stream on this here. You have to use Google Hangouts to invite people to the panel. And it takes a little. Your first time through, you know, you'll want to try it before you try to plan a live stream.
Talking about it for the last few nights.
What time's the live stream at on Wednesday?
What we're going to do at 4 o'clock, Mike? 4 o'clock, you guys' time? No, 4 my time, 7 you guys' time.
Yeah.
What? What was it?
Yeah, 7 p.m. our time.
Oh, good.
Which will be 4 Grizz's time.
All right.
And
4, I'd be at work.
yeah, it'd be 4 for Northwest Sawyer. And if it needs to be later, that's fine. It's Thanksgiving night, so
Thanksgiving Eve.
or yeah, whatever.
Wait, really?
Yeah, you're not going to
Yeah, anytime that evening's fine with me. You know, I mean, if we want to make it a little bit later, whatever works for Mike too. I mean, for Northwest Sawyer, I mean.
What's his name? His real name.
Jason, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If he wants to be known, yeah.
What's the setup is there any setup that you have to do to set up Google Hangouts when you first live stream? I can't remember. It's been so long.
No, if I set it up on my end, all you have to do is click on the link and it will connect you, and just like you did tonight.
Yeah, but it seems like when I first tried to live stream, I was having problems because I didn't know what settings to go to or something.
Yeah, if you're gonna host it, you have to kind of get in there ahead of time and set up all your settings. But if you're not hosting it, you just gotta click on the link and it pulls you right into it.
Okay, well, we'll do it on Mike's channel then. We'll do it on Mike's channel, and then we can even talk a little bit about that and coax him through there on a live stream when he's in the live stream, you know, for future reference for him.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we can. I can set it up here on this channel, and then if anybody has any trouble getting connected in, we can like mess around and kind of help people get connected in, and no big deal.
Yeah. And like I said, I am going to do a live stream Wednesday evening, but it'll be just like a 5 or 10 minute live stream. I'll probably do it like 10 minutes in advance, 10 till 4. Yeah, just to promote it, get a bunch of, get a few people from my side, that might want to come into it too.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, man. Yeah, I know how it is. Yeah. No worries about paying attention. I have 3 kids. You don't even have to explain that.
With the sick kid.
Yeah. No, he had tonsils out.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah. No, man.
I hope the kid's feeling better before Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Hope is.
When did they have him out?
Just a couple days ago. So yeah, no, totally get that.
Yeah, it's about a week recovery time.
Jump on and just watch, or whatever you want to do, whatever you can do. Family's most important. Take care of the kids.
Yeah, definitely.
Make sure they're comfortable.
Tractor Man, I think Stacey would like to see that.
What?
Well, Mike, don't pull me in tonight by accident. I'm sitting here in my underwear.
Get your paintball gun ready, Stacey.
Get her done.
Yep.
And adenoids. Northwest Sawyer, I actually had that done when I was 7. And I was in the hospital for 2 days.
They don't even keep you in the hospital for it now. They send
Yeah,
you out the next day.
Well, it was like 30 years ago. Oh, 35 years ago. I was back. So I had mine, tonsils and adenoids taken out, and I was in the hospital for 2 days.
This one over here had his out.
Oh, yeah. He had his out, too. And
he was only like 3.
he was in and out in like, 2 hours?
No, it wasn't that quick.
Yeah,
You're there half the morning, and then they send you home in the beginning of the afternoon.
Yeah, we were home the same day.
Yeah,
we were in the morning, and we were home in the afternoon.
Right.
Remember the bagel thing?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, so they're like, they send us home with him, and they're like, yeah, her throat's gonna be real sore. So they're like, he's gonna wake up. They prepare us. They're like, he's gonna wake up and he's gonna get upset. He's gonna cry and he's gonna be really mad. And so we walk into the room and he wakes up and he looks at me and her and he smiles. And the doctors are like, we've never had a kid wake up and smile. Normally they wake up and they're
So high on the medicine.
like normally they wake up and they're screaming in pain. He wakes up smiling, and then they're like, when he gets home, he's probably gonna want ice cream and yogurt and smooth like.
I'm glad
And
the dog wasn't in here.
we get home and he's like, I want a toasted bagel,
So,
and we're like, you're kidding, right? You just had surgery in your throat and you want a toasted bagel? And they said, give him whatever he asked for. So we're like, okay. They give him a toasted bagel and he loved it. And he's like chewing the thing. It's all hard and he's swallowing and he's fine and he's smiling. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, what are you doing this to show off or what? Like, but yeah, you can't knock him down. I don't know what it is.
It's like when I kicked, well, didn't kick, but walked into a log with my foot.
Jeez. Yeah, we're in the yard one day and he's running across the yard and there's a big splinter, big thing sticking out of one of the logs. And he's walking across the log with like, I don't know, flip-flops or barefoot or something. And he walks right into the log and there's this big splinter sticking out of it and he goes like right into it and it like impaled. And he's like, ow. And I'm like, what? And he's like, I ran into the log and I look and he's like, get this big hole in his foot with this big piece of wood sticking out. I'm like, you kidding me? He's like, yeah, that hurts. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. I'm like, you just freaking javelined yourself there. What the hell? I'm like,
oh.
He's like, yeah, nothing bothers him. I'm like, and he's in the wrestling program because I'm afraid of his opponents.
And I go, no.
What? She can come up here.
No, she gotta get to no fine.
Come on.
Try and get her ball.
They try to get caught up on the chat.
Come on. Come on. You come up. Come on.
Yes. Tractor Man says, don't tell me. Oh, I got that. Friday night, I still have all the Northwest Solar says that I still have all the my throat stuff. Yeah, I don't.
Too.
Me and Kyle don't.
Emma doesn't either.
Oh wow, James.
Thank you.
No excuses. Now you can take Stacey out to dinner.
James. James, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you, James, very much. That's awesome. Happy holidays to you too. That's really cool. I appreciate it. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
That
Whatever
is
you
so cool.
celebrate.
Yeah, Tractor Man, your wife has a twisted sense of humor.
What? You just say?
Tractor Man says, well, they have a little animal. They have little animals on them. My wife has a twisted sense of humor sometimes, you know.
He's talking about his underwear.
Little dinosaurs and stuff. Nice. Get the little SpongeBob ones or something. What kind of you at, Kyle?
What?
Like Ninja Turtles or something?
No.
No.
I hate Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles underwear is the best.
Really?
No? Budweiser.
No, Tractor Man, we know you're telling the truth. Funny.
What's funny is you guys think I'm kidding. All right, truth moment. Everyone's got to show the animals that are on their underwear.
No way.
It's the only
Okay,
one
we
I
should
can
make
think
Chris'
of.
wife since we're here.
No comment on it.
So, Grizz, where's your wife?
She's sitting on the couch.
Stacy wants to meet. We want to meet
We
her.
want to say hi to her.
Oh, well, come here, Dan. And Northwest Sawyer, what I'm doing is I'm cooking a turkey out on the fire pit.
Oh,
That'll be good.
road trip. We're coming west.
Wow. Oh, there's Chris.
Oh, hi.
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 How are you?
Right.
Hi to Chris's wife.
I did.
Shy.
Yeah, Stacy was just like, "Hey, we want to say hi to Griz's wife."
Well, we can hear her, but we couldn't see her.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, she has this channel too with the chickens and stuff, right?
Yeah, the chicken, Deanne, the chicken lady.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do some other stuff.
She just shot a video today on making a acorn squash pie. And now she's got a lot of, because that she's not, hasn't moved up to the next level, she can only upload like 10-minute videos. So she's got like 2 hours of video that she's got to edit down to 10 minutes.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, she'll figure it out.
Interesting.
You better stay off it, Snickle Fred.
I have to stay up there.
But I haven't tried a piece yet, but I did dip my finger in the filling before she put it baked it, and it was tasting pretty good.
Oh, nice.
Probably somebody can't duplicate it.
Yeah, I've never
I don't even think I've had acorn squash. Have we?
heard of acorn pie.
You can use about any kind.
Yeah, you can make. We've never made acorn pie. This is the first time.
Yeah,
But you know what? Why not? An
other
acorn is a
recipes.
squash, or and the pumpkin is a squash. Why not? So you really can't tell the difference between the two. It's very similar.
Dad, I went on all recipes and they have tons of that.
Mhm.
Recipes all for it.
So, something else you can do. I haven't tried this here, but another friend of mine here in the area here, he took zucchini and he made an apple pie out of zucchini, and he said it actually tasted better. That he liked it better than the regular apple pie. But he says he used just regular zucchini instead of apples, and made his made an apple pie out of zucchinis.
Wow.
Allergic to apples.
Yeah, I like zucchini bread, but I've never tried zucchini pie.
It'd be interesting to try.
By the way, Northwest Sawyer, he lives up in Escada. He's saying, "Hello, Mrs. Grizz." And Tractorman says, "Mrs. Grizz, I believe you should be nominated for sainthood."
I've known him my whole life.
Well, you and Stacy have something in common then.
I haven't known you all my life, though.
He met me at church as a baby.
At this point, half our lives.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I pretty much remember when she was born.
Wow.
Only I was a year old.
Really?
Coming to church.
I don't actually remember when she was born, but I remember the first time my mom brought her to church, or her mom brought her to church, because her parents and our parents were really close friends and stuff. And I remember meeting them in the foyer at church. And mom was just oohing and ahhing how cute she was and stuff. And I'm sitting there like, "What about me, Mom?" Or they say, "Mom," I say, "What about me, Mommy?"
That's funny. Yeah, I grew up down in the city, right near Boston. I grew up around people, and she grew up in the Midwest part of New Hampshire, which is quite different from where I grew up. And so I grew up in quite different places, which actually kind of worked out well. It kind of complements each other.
Because now we live in the middle of New Hampshire. Well,
Now we kind of live in in between, and she still loves the city and loves to.
I don't need.
No.
Nah.
But yeah, she's typically before used to always love like, going to the city and
It's
the
fine to
beaches
go
and-
visit there, but I'd rather live where we do.
Okay.
The beaches
So-
are fine.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I just like being home and being out in the woods and being away from everything. And
On
my
the
family,
floor.
not they're like, how can you like live out in the middle of nowhere? And I'm like, well, growing up, you guys used to take me here for vacation, so you taught me that this was vacation. And now the fact that I get to live where you guys,
I'll be right back.
like pretty much taught me that was like a getaway. I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
So,
And we're not that far. I mean, we're not that middle of nowhere. 15 minutes to get to a store. Like a
yeah,
grocery
small store. Yeah.
A grocery store.
If you want to go to like a mall or the city, it's like a half hour, 45 minutes. But
Well, my wife likes going to the city if somebody else is driving, and that's it.
What?
I don't even want to. I don't even want to.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't even want to leave the town. I live in.
Well, you have Amazon, so.
I hate leaving here.
We have to go next month. To
I
the
don't even
sur-
like leaving my yard, but
Yeah, next month I got to figure out. It's going to be a miserable trip, but I got to take Angela up there for her ear surgery in
On the
December.
10th is a pre-op.
Let's go 10th.
And the 20th is,
Yeah,
Then we
20th
find
is
out.
surgery.
he's got to go up to LOHSU
Portland,
and
Oregon.
and remove her prosthesis and see if they can resurgically implant it again.
In
Oh.
the direction.
Scoot it over.
In the direction.
Yes, it fell. It isn't in
Yeah.
the right position.
It's shifted or something.
Really. A lot.
What?
did anyone read what Ben Bro wrote? I don't know how to answer that question. Maybe Grizz has an idea.
An elephant.
He asked about scratching something, and I'm not. really-
Yeah. And I said an elephant.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Northwest is asking what's everyone doing for Turkey Day. So I think we're just planning on hanging out here, and we don't want to go anywhere.
My place.
I just want to wake up, cook a bird, eat it, and sit around, take a nap, and do nothing.
Or is anybody coming over? Do you know?
If people want to come here, great. Otherwise, I don't want to leave my house.
Yeah.
If I don't have to put pants on, I'll be happy.
Oh,
Same with you.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
That sounds like him.
I want to wake up and just like not move and just eat things.
you cook the
Wow.
dinner dessert.
Oh, and if I have to cook, I'm happy. That's fine. I like to cook, but I don't want to have to leave my house. If I don't have to put, like I said, I don't have to put pants on. Like if I can just wake up and close the doors and be warm and
Get the wood stove fixed before then.
There you go. That's how I go.
Well, I want to be getting up early because I know it's going to take a long time to cook the turkey on an open fire out there. So I got it. Well, I'm not going to get up any earlier than I normally do, about 4 o'clock. But I want to start. I'm going to have to start a fire around 7 or 8. So around 10 or 11, I can have a really good bed of coals. Because a turkey that size, a decent sized turkey, it's going to take a huge bed of coals. You have to keep it going so I can keep the heat going all day long.
so you cook the turkey outside?
Pardon?
You cook the turkey outdoors?
Yeah, I'm going to cook it on an open fire outside.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I put a piece of bark down. I get the bed of coals and a little fire going, and then I put a big sheet of bark of wood over the top of the fire so you don't have the direct heat. And you still get the smoke coming on through and stuff. I put of course I put a rack on top of the bark, and then I put the bird on the rack, and then I just take a big old canning kettle and set it upside down to help trap the heat on in there. So you're still baking it, but you get that smoke flavor to it.
Yep, like everybody does. That way too.
Just read the comments.
See. The Northwest says, Mrs. Grizz.
We already
Tractor
did
Man says, Mrs. Grizz, I believe you should.
We already
being-
did that.
Oh, I'm a little.
That's okay.
Where am I?
I get lost too.
For it, well, Grizz, your mom.
Truck Man 44 says, "Well, Grizz, your mom
Thank
realized
you very much, Angela.
when you had a full beard at the age of 2."
That's not true. I didn't have a full beard at the age of 2. I didn't get my full beard until I was in 2nd grade. When I was 23 years old.
Liar.
Where's my beard then?
My beard.
Oh, read what James.
You were a young teenager when you got
Probably 16.
Northwest Source says Steve Martin. Nice.
Come here and tell me.
James says, "I'm homeless in Santa Clara. I'll probably end up dead in a shelter for church." Wait, what?
Wait, what?
That was supposed to be say at a shelter, not dead. Oh, what?
Oh, end up at a shelter church, not dead.
I was gonna say what? One more time, I'll probably end up in a shelter or a church because I'm homeless. That came out wrong.
Oh God! What?
You gotta love technology. It totally turns things around. It's like
Yep.
everyone's dropping their drawers. Like, what? Oh, never mind.
Oh, there's the keys.
Character Man 44. Ha ha. Great.
I'm not going to lose them.
Good old Steve Martin.
Therefore, I know.
Every time I think of Steve Martin, I always think of the saying.
Get that going in here, Angela. Take her outside.
I always think of I was born a poor black child.
Come here.
She was already right there at you, Angela.
Come here.
Hey, DP Mike, how's it going? I was born a poor black child.
No, you aren't.
I was.
Yeah. Kyle needs a haircut.
Kyle needs a haircut.
Why is everything so quiet now? Tired.
Did you ever see the movie The Jerk? Steve Martin.
Stop it!
Okay. Sorry.
Can
I'm
you just-
gonna punch you.
No, you're
No,
not. Stop. Stop. This is my baby boy.
James says, I don't type my responses. I use Mike, and it sometimes shows cuckoo.
You gotta love technology. Oh, you're losing us again?
Just for a sec.
Where are you going? Oh, well, I guess Mike's leaving again.
Bye.
It's your weak bladder. Kyle's
Weak bladder, really?
Weak bladder? What? You serious?
love the jerk.
Who's that?
Northwest. Yeah, he's all right. What do you think about your dad? He's all right? Are you going to go with me to the shop tomorrow? Okay.
So where do you work at, Stacey?
I work as a preschool teacher.
Okay.
It's only a part-time gig, so I can help at the store on the weekends.
I don't know how you tolerate the little kids that way. I couldn't work out of school.
You can
Lush!
Yeah, I always tell Stacey if I had to do her job, I'd probably be in prison.
Yep.
I just couldn't do it.
We have a good bunch of kids this time.
I love kids, but yeah, I don't. If I had to spend a day with like 10 people, 10 of other kids,
Oh, we
other
have
people's kids, yeah,
like 10. We have 24.
yeah, I couldn't do that. You know, because everyone raises the kids differently, and a lot of people let their kids get away with a lot of things. And when you get surrounded by spoiled kids, that I just
These
can't-
are rich kids, yeah. So
I just cannot do that. No.
all right. So Northwest said someone really hates these oil cans. What does that mean?
Oh yeah, he knows him. That's the jerk. That's awesome.
Crushing the cream.
Somebody really hates these oil cans. These oil cans are defective. I love it. Nathan R. Johnson. I'm somebody now. I'm in the phone book.
And then somebody asked about
Shark Man says, Mike, do you guys have normal open hours at the new Dillons Woodworks store, like Monday through Friday? So we're going to try to do some sort of normal hours at the store because I still work full time. I want to go down to the store and I want to work from there. But I think what I'm going to do is advertise hours 3 to 6 because Ryan can get off the bus and be at the store at 3. And then she'll be able to pick him up as she comes home through Warner at 6. So at least I know during those periods that people will be able to come in there and have somebody who will be able to pay attention to them. Because if I have to work outside of those or in those hours and I have to be on a call or something, it would be kind of uncomfortable if somebody walks into the office as I'm on a call and I can't talk to them. So,
and I can go down in the morning and on the weekends.
and if it turns out like business picks up and people are coming in regularly buying things, that might be able to justify, like, you know, bringing in a friend or somebody that
Hire people.
Yeah.
You're high tech, Mike. You can get one of those computer programs that makes the millennials obsolete.
I'll make like a hologram of like, yeah, like, you know.
That was weird seeing one of those robots at McDonald's though, or whatever they are, the computer screen.
Oh, yeah. It's like self-checkout for McDonald's.
I haven't seen that. Well, I haven't been in them. We haven't McDonald's in town. I don't think that's reached here yet, but I haven't even been in the McDonald's for I don't know how many years.
I don't even know why we don't usually go either, but I don't know.
Nathan R. Johnson. Love that movie.
How about A&W has been here for years?
James says, so when I respond with the mic, I lose your guys' voice and your sound, and then the TV's also blaring in the background. Maybe it translates my voice in the TV, and then it makes its own mind up. But James says, if you had to really do it, I think you can handle it better than anyone of us. You know, you're more any one of us. You know, you are more. You have more skills than you think you do. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pooping in my
No, thanks. Yeah.
Kyle, stop.
You know, we all have our own different limits and abilities. Tractor Man says, that's cool. I didn't realize you were still working a normal full-time job. Yes. Yeah, I still work my full-time job, and I do the part-time, full-time business thing. And,
Well,
you know,
the full-time job has insurance.
Yeah, and I am a glutton for punishment, and I don't, you know, just when I think I've had too much, I ask for more.
So because you were talking about for a bit that you was going to try to quit your job and get away from there.
I want to do that. Well, my plan is eventually to do that. So what I ultimately decided was that I would try to make myself as busy as I possibly could stand, And I would keep doing that to the point where my work was like, you seem distracted.
Mhm.
We're going to let you go. You know, so I decided I'm not going to make the call. I'm going to let my work make the call. So if I get to the point where I'm so busy trying to do work outside of my regular job that they start feeling it, then I'll let them tell me that.
Okay. That's, you'll get more gray hairs that way, but it's a good way to go too, though.
Well, the way I think about it, it's like it'll help me sustain
financially in the long run to reach that plateau with your own business. You'll be able to get there smoother without having the highs and lows. Because when you're self-employed, I mean, it's a roller coaster. You either got money or you don't, and that will help. It'll help phase you on into that roller coaster.
Exactly. It'll help me transition into it. So I figure if I can juggle both to the point where there'll be a point where I'm like, all right, I'm not going to let my business suffer, but I'll let my work suffer. And if it gets to the point where my work says you're letting your work suffer to the point where we need to let you go, then at least I know at that point that I have so much work with my business that I can let my work go. So if I let it get that point, at least I know that at that point, if my work is suffering, then my business must be doing okay. And so it's kind of my logic with that. But I don't want to just jump ship and make the decision, say I'm going to jump and go. I figure, and the company I work for is the type of company that if you've been there for 5+ years, if they do let you go, a lot of times they let you go with a severance. So it's like, I'd rather them let me go, because if they do, there might be a benefit to that. You know?
Yeah. Mike, you got that right about the insurance. It's a killer. I tell you what, when I was contracting, my bond was cheap. I mean, being, my license and bond, that wasn't a problem. My bond was only like $100 a year for a $10,000 bond. But my liability insurance was, the business insurance. That there was $500. It was $6,000 a year.
Yeah, insurance.
And that was without a sawmill. I don't know what a sawmill would have done on the business deal. I don't even know how it would have affected it.
Yeah, like Northwest Source says, insurance is why I'm not sawing full time. I actually researched insurance over the summer, and I was talking to some insurance, some agents about insurance, and yeah, there's a lot of little caveats and little gotchas to insurance and signing up at the right time and certain little like cutoffs with income and sales. And there's a lot of little tricks and loopholes. And if you play it right, you can do okay. But if you don't pay attention, it can get costly. And in some cases, it's more beneficial to go without insurance altogether. So it depends on your situation. Like we're kind of at a.
I wouldn't go without insurance because of the kids.
We're kind of at a crossroads where it's like, if you're a young family, where you're all like your parents and you're under 30 years
You
old.
can't go without insurance.
Your kids
anymore.
are like, young, and you're young, and it doesn't, it's not that big a deal. But it's like when you're going into your 40s and your kids are starting to become teenagers, it's like it gets to be a little bit more of a risk. And so you have to research that a little bit more, and then you have to decide like what's your income level going to be, and there's a whole bunch of little things that go into. So we talked to some brokers and stuff that really made me think. And it actually even depends on what time of the year that you decide to make that move. Like if you decide later in the year to make the move, it's better than if you made the move earlier in the year or middle of the year. And it's kind of weird. like the way it all works out. So
What, Northwest Swayer, do you have a job that you work for somebody else or do, or are you fully self-employed?
yeah, I believe he does excavation work. Track Command 44 says deal maker or deal breaker, one way or the other. Insurance, that is true.
Right.
Northwest Source says my work pays for my insurance and half of my family's. Yep. DP Mike, what's your business name? Dillons Woodworks.
Dillons Woodworks.
Yep, it's registered in the state of New Hampshire as Dillons Woodworks
Without the apostrophe.
without the apostrophe, but I just changed my logo and the name and all that with put the apostrophe in it, but doesn't matter.
The flying noodle.
It's registered without the apostrophe. Doesn't really matter.
It looks better with apostrophe.
Welcome
But
to
it's
Dillon
official now. It's insured, registered, all that stuff. Northwest Sawyer says we just dropped $2,000 for my son's surgery. Yeah, it's tough. Insurance is it's sometimes a guessing game. You just never know what you're covered for. Northwest Sawyer says excavation. Yeah, that's what I figured.
Is he self-employed though, or does he work for an outfit?
He works for another company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I love doing excavation work, but you know, I've never done it full time, so that might be why. You know, it's always the grass is always greener. You know, I've been doing computer support and computer design and engineering work for almost 20 years, and some people would look at that from like a manual labor standpoint and be like, that would be great. And I'm like, no, it sucks. I'm like, I never get out of my chair. I hate it. Like I just want to get up and move and do things. And some people look at it.
I've been self-employed my whole life, and with all my daughter's surgeries and stuff, I was having to drop about $10K every year. You know, for my daughter's surgery to insure her, to get health insurance on her, they wanted $2,000 a month just for her. Well, that would have been $24,000 a year. I figured, you know, that's good. I'll just pay the bill myself. It's cheaper.
Yeah, I've met a lot of people that are self-employed that have their own business that say, and actually even during the period of Obama where there was a penalty, I've met some people that said, you know, it was cheaper to pay the penalty and the medical bills than to actually hold insurance.
Well, at least around here, a lot of the hospitals will give you a discount if you don't have insurance.
And actually that whole penalty thing kind of really ruffled my feathers. That I've never had to deal with it, but I mean,
We've already said
if you can't afford insurance, you're going to penalize people that can't afford it. And I've known people that, I mean, it's not like that I'm guessing that that's the case, but that's true. Like if people can't afford it, yeah, the government is penalizing people that can't pay for their own insurance.
Well, what we have here is if you don't have insurance, they jack the prices even up higher on you. Except where her surgeries was, we got a better deal because it was through the OHSU, and so, you know, there was some grants that helped pay for a lot of the different stuff, but I had to put at least $10,000 a year. But I mean, if we went to a regular hospital, like or what's the Mennonite hospitals one that they have here? If you go to them, they jack the bill up on you if you don't have insurance. If you have insurance, they lower the bill. Like, you know, and usually I was going to pay cash up front, you know, on a lot of the stuff, but they would still want to jack up the bill. I'm saying, look, I got the cash up front right here. Why are you jacking the price up on me?
Yeah, around here, if you don't have insurance and you go to the hospital and straight out say, I'm paying cash and I have no insurance,
they'll give you a discount.
like they will literally, they'll cut your bill in half at least. Like if your bill would normally be 10,000,
Well, they go.
they'll probably be like, yeah, we'll do it for 3.
No, they do it by your income.
They do it by your income, but you can get 50 to 75% off.
Man,
They told me that. Like, you literally can walk in there and your bill, if it's $10,000, might be like literally $3,000.
Well, like Kay said, it goes by your yeah.
It goes by your income, but usually you'll get at least half off.
That they pay for signing.
So sometimes it's almost better having no insurance, depending on what your deductible is.
So I don't know.
So Northwest Sawyer says 26.
For what? No.
Tractor Man says my family was insured through my pipe fitters local throughout my career. Sucks to have such a payout insurance.
Yes.
Tractor Man says my son's with local 513 operators out of St. Louis. And Northwest Sawyer says the union is nothing out here. Yeah, my father was in a union all through his whole career for 30 plus years. And his insurance is amazing. Yeah, I was actually, because his insurance, I only especially made well aware of it after he passed away. He had a stroke and got the hospital bills for it. It was over $200,000 worth of hospital bills.
Yeah.
that's what Northwest Sawyer said.
And we only end up having to pay less than $10,000 of
No,
that.
it was less than that.
It was like $7,000
Yeah.
out of like almost $200,000 worth of hospital bills. So he had really amazing. DP Mike says if you pay cash, they pocket that stuff. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Tractor Man says, what you just said, Grizz, is why Medicare, Medicaid has been being raked by doctors and hospital charges.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I pay $110 a month for Medicare.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's a pretty good deal. Now that's just part A and part B. I don't have part C,
But still, that's worth it.
but I mean, it's only $110 a month, and
I don't have to do none of that.
That's a good deal. Northwest Sawyer says Grizz needs insurance with all those home rolled.
yeah.
Tractor Man says this area is a big time union for building trades. Yeah, there's a lot of union in Massachusetts, New York, Connecticut around for construction, bridge and tunnel and road construction. That's what my father did. It's all,
The unions were really strong here back in the 70s and the 80s, and even going in the 90s. But I mean, they kind of got busted.
yeah, around here the unions are really strong. Well, of course you get the mafia that helps support that. So
Or like, well,
The only strong unions that we have here in Oregon anymore is the state union.
oh yeah.
Yeah, if you can get a state job, get in their unions, then you're set in gold.
Yeah, I grew up. My father always did construction, painting, building. He always worked with his hands and worked hard, long hours. And he always took me through all of that. Every chance he got. Through the summers, I would 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, I would go out and I'd help him build bridges and tunnels. We'd mix concrete, run jackhammers. There were days I would work 16, 18 plus hours. There was one time where I actually got so dehydrated, I actually passed out and they started feeding me water and I kept back on working again. But it taught me a lot of good lessons. It taught me a lot. It taught me about, it taught me how to work hard, and that's important.
Yeah.
I don't regret it. I appreciate what my father taught me and did for me, and I think it's great. There's extremes to everything, but it's like sometimes I think too many people aren't teaching their kids that it means a lot to work hard for what you get. And too many people expect everything. And not enough people feel like they should work for what they get.
Yeah.
That's just my view on it.
Well, hard work pays off.
Well, it just seems like the kids of the last 30 years have just felt like they need to start out in the top paying jobs. They don't want to work their way up to it.
Right.
Too many people, they walk into like a MIC job and they're like, I want $12 an hour. It's like, are you kidding me?
Well, that was like when you had some teenager come over and they wanted $10 an hour or whatever, and they were barely in high school or something.
Yeah, so I had a kid come over to my house and he's like 18 and he's like, I put out an ad and I said, I'll pay a good laborer $10 an hour to come help me out around the property, like to do just general work. And so he comes up to the house and I was like, yeah, I need to build a chicken coop and I just need to build a nesting box. So I'm like, hammer and nails. I'll give you, you don't have to think about it. I'm not expecting a lot. I'm going to pay $10 an hour.
Well, he said he was.
Yeah, so he says like, oh no, I'm a carpenter, and I'm like, all right. Well, I'm like, I pull up my nail gun, and I'm like, if you go here, and I start showing him how to use the nail gun, he's like, oh, I know how to use the nail gun. I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, well, build a nesting box. Like, I just want it in these dimensions, and this is what he's like. All right. And he thought all in his mind, he's like, I got this. And I'm like, all right. And he was confident. So I thought, you're good. So he's standing there with a 2x4 and another 2x4 and the nail gun. And I'm looking from like 20 feet away. I look over and he's got the 2x4, another piece of wood and a nail gun like this. He's going to move his hand. And then sure enough, he shot the nail right through the wood, went right through one finger, right completely through that finger into the next finger, broke the bone in the finger next to that.
Oh, it was gross.
And I actually ran over to him, and I'm like, so how's it going? And he's like, yeah, this hurts. And I'm like, yeah, I would imagine. His two fingers stuck together with a nail coming out of it, and I'm like, all right, so this is getting pretty good more. Pull the nail out of both of his fingers, and he broke the bone in his middle finger and went through all of that index finger. I bring him in the house. He told me he ends up going to the doctor, and it turns out he broke his middle finger with the nail, the framing nail that hit it, and punctured his index.
And she didn't get my money on it.
And so he comes here thinking he's like, I'm Mr. like he tells me he's like, oh, I've been doing training and this and that, and I'm like, okay. And next thing I'm like, all right, yeah, that's good. at least him, I give him credit for trying. Too many kids, I just want to like like sweep your porch, and I want to get paid $20.
Whoa.
So, like he came out here, and he actually after he got hurt, he wanted to keep working. Now him, I give credit because he gave it a shot. He tried. He put his best effort in. He didn't want to admit fault. He just wanted to push forward and keep going. But like, you know, a lot of kids are just like, hey, you know, I want to mow your lawn and I want you to pay me $100. Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't think so. You know, it's like I mowed people lawns when I was a kid, and I was like happy to get $10. And I'm like,
Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed any of the comments on my channel. There's one kid that leaves comments here and there. Kind of a smart mouth kid. I call him. He's got to be close to 40 now. But I mean, when he graduated from high school, he went to work for me. Yeah, he's a smart aleck, but he was one of the best employees I ever had. I mean, he was great. But he leaves comments on my videos. His name's Nick Babber. You know, if you ever come across him.
what is this?
But that kid, right out of high school, he wanted to work. I mean, he had common sense. He was one of the best employees. I went out there and showed him what to do. Wasn't afraid of height. I mean, 2-story houses up on roofs and stuff. He'd crawl all over the place like a monkey up there. You know, I mean, he was just great with it. But that's the last good kid that I've ever been able to hire. I asked him, I says, hey, recommend me some kids. He's okay, I got some high school buddies. He brings them on out there. And I told this one kid, okay, here's the sawzall. Start cutting out the door plates. And I come back and I check out on him. And here he is sitting on his butt with a sawzall. And he's just taking his time. And it would take him like 30 minutes to cut out a door plate on it, you know, when we're framing doors or framing the houses. Like, this is crazy. Or we get up rolling to the truss, and he wouldn't walk the top plates. He'd straddle the top plate and scoot along the top plate when we're rolling the truss, using his nuts for like ball bearings to make it easier to
Oh, God.
I tell you what, I mean, somebody, the high school kids, you know, they were just horrible to have out there. But I tried, you know, to hire the younger generation and train them on up. And I only had one that Nick Babber, he was the only one that ever really panned out for me really good.
Yeah, it seems like not enough people want to work harder.
I saw him
with him one day. You know, this one guy that I worked with, that I didn't work with, I built for him. He was the general contractor, and he had a guy building fences for him. Now, I didn't, you know, I was working on the job, but it wasn't my employee, it was his employee building fences on out there. The guy had a nail gun, and a 16-penny nail when he's building fence. Got a 16-penny nail right in the, you know, at the top of your neck here. You got that V bone right here.
Yeah.
16-penny nail he shot right straight in the middle of there. I've seen the picture of it. I didn't actually see it happen, but I've seen the picture of it. 16-penny nail sunk all the way through here. The head of the 16-penny nail was pulling the skin in. That's how far it was sunk on in.
Whoa.
I flighted him up to Portland to OHSU. That nail missed everything. They just pulled the nail and sent him on home. It missed everything. You know, but we're like one of Greg Larkin's employees that he had.
Tractor Man says, I agree what you said about learning from the older generation and going about the business of working your butt off to get ahead. It teaches self-reliance and builds character. True. Yeah. And you know what? And growing up with my father, he never ever let you get anything. I couldn't get like a piece of gum without working for it. And that, you know, it's like growing up, you think like your father's being a jerk or whatever, but like, you get older and you realize, you know what? I really appreciate the fact that he did that because the fact that I can work for everything I get. And that's why I try now to do the same thing with my kids. And I look at them when they're like, I hate you. And I'm like, then I must be doing it right. You know, it's like, you hate me. Right. Then keep working harder. And so I think they're going to do the same thing. They're going to realize one day, like, all right, he's pushing me. I realize now that I have to work. Too many. I think a lot of parents are kind of playing off when their kids are saying, you know, I hate you or this and that. Like, you know, you're making me do this and I don't like you for that. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. And then they just give them whatever they want. And I think that's where that generation comes from, because their emotional reaction, their parents are letting that take control. And when the kids are reacting like normal kids, they're letting it get the best of them. But you can't. You just have to say, no, I'm here to guide you and teach you. And the parent is to teach you that you need to work for what you get. And not enough parents, I think, you know, people are blaming the generation, but I think parents of that generation that created it. And it's just my thought on that.
Take care, Tractor Man. Have a good rest, and make sure you put some clean Animal Planet shorts on tomorrow.
Yeah. Take care, Tractor Man. Happy underwear days.
Oh God.
Yeah, I can't fault a kid for shooting themselves with a nail gun though, because I have shot myself several times with a nail gun, knowing that can happen.
Well, you know, I was, you know, the fact that Stacey was here. He shot himself in the hand with a nail gun. We brought him in here. He was like 16, 18 years old. He comes in here. We pull the nail out. We put a Band-Aid on it. And I'm like, you know, let's call your parents. Let's have him come out. Pick him up. Let's bring him to the hospital. And he's like, no, I want to keep working. And I'm like, yeah, you're not like a normal generation kid. Like,
no, that's not normal.
He's like, I want to keep working. I'm like, I was impressed. I was like,
to give the kid credit, he was almost homeless with Molly or whatever.
yeah, he had issues at home or whatever. But yeah, no, but even better, like he realized, he's like, I gotta work hard. I gotta keep doing it. And he's like, no, I want to keep working. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, you sure? Because like, you put a nail through your hand. Like that's pretty bad. You don't want to keep working with it. It's like, no, I want to keep going. I want to keep going. He was like determined, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm like, it's wrapped up. I'm like, if you want, we can go out and, you know, we can take it easy. And he starts going out, and I'm looking at his face, and I can see he's kind of like turning green and stuff. And I'm like, you could tell he just didn't seem into it. I'm like, you're not having this right now. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. And I'm like, you need to go. And so, and he had his own car and all that. And I was like, go home and like, you need to see. I'm like, you know, take care of your hand. And he did. And he ended up coming back after. And but you could tell like he didn't want to give up. And 99% of the kids would not do that.
Yeah. This one job that I did, I built a cedar vent, you know, for a gable-in vent, you know, the cedar. And it was a remodel job that I was doing, and I'd cut a hole in the gable end to put it on in. Well, cut into the plywood, had to put some backer boards in, so when I put the cedar vent on in there, I had something to secure it. Nailing through the back of the, you know, I was nailing through the front, and I had my hand in the back, you know, holding the block up that I was nailing through. I was using 2 1/4 inch finished galvanized nails because that's what I was going to use to shoot the bit in with. So I'm holding the block up there, and when it fired, it double fired. You know how when you get a recoil, the gun will kick back and it'll hit again, and if you hold the trigger, it'll give a double shot. Mind you, I'm shooting 7-penny nails, finished nails, with a small head. The amount of wood that I'm shooting through, there was no way that 7-penny is what 2 1/4 inches long, and I had a true 2x4, you know, so it's 2 inches thick, plus a 1/2 inch or 5/8 of a T111 that I was shooting through. So 2 5/8 of wood, you know, in between with a 2 1/4 nail. I figure I'm safe. At the worst part, just a little prick is going to come on through.
Right.
I bounced on the gun. The second nail shot right dead on top of the first nail. It pushed the first nail right through my wrist. So I mean, the second nail hit the first nail and shot the nail right through my wrist.
Damn.
I mean, I knew better than to do what I was doing in the first place. It wasn't not a smart move, but I mean, that was a freak accident. But the best accident that I ever had was well, it wasn't that I had. It was on one of my jobs. I had a guy who was building 3-story apartment complexes, and we had like a 36 or I think it was a 36-foot extension ladder. And when you're framing walls, the end sheet you can't put on. You know, I mean, on one wall, the one wall you can sheet all the way across, with the wall that you join it to, the corner, the plywood overlaps. So you have to go up there on the ladder, and you have to put on that last short piece of plywood. I had one kid go on up there, and it was stapling on. It was OSB, and he was stapling on the OSB. He went to pass the staple gun around behind him, and he had his finger on the trigger. He put safety on the staple gun on his butt cheeks, and he stapled his butt cheeks on when he was stapling on the 3rd floor. He stapled his butt cheeks together.
He staples his butt cheeks together.
Yes, he stapled his butt cheeks together. I just, what had happened, I seen him up there working, and
Stacey's not believing me. She's like,
I come back half hour later, the guy's in the same spot hasn't moved. I said, what's going on? I can't move. I stapled my butt cheeks together. Can you imagine with your butt cheeks stapled together, you know, with staples? You're on a ladder, the way your legs move, your butt cheeks move back and forth. We had to lift him down with a forklift.
He's like, what?
Yeah, Chris is asking if he whistles when he farts now. I would say that.
Does it whistle? That's gonna hurt awfully bad, James Smith.
Yeah, that poor kid never lived it down.
No, yeah.
I've seen twice. You know, this is one reason why I hate seeing guys wearing ponytails at work.
What?
I have seen this happen twice where a guy caught a ponytail in a drill.
I am, you said. Right?
Joking.
He didn't seem like it. Does it whistle when he farts? That's awesome. Do you think so?
Well,
So if your butt's sewn together, do you think it's like puckering your lip? You fart and it's like
60.
Did they have the paramedics come out to get him down?
Oh man, yeah, Chris, I've seen that happen twice. In
oh, yeah.
I've seen that happen twice, and both times it literally yanked their ponytails out of their big old bloody spot in the back of their head like this.
Do you remember those old, the old box fans that were metal? When I was a kid, my sister got her head too close to one of them, and it tore all the hair off.
Oh man,
Yeah, she got her head caught up in one of them real bad.
Oh. Another thing that I hate seeing I only seen this happen once. But one thing after, now this was when I was a kid, you know, working before I went to work for myself. When I seen this here, I told anybody that wears the ring on the job site, they're fired. I would not wear it. I seen a guy fall off a ladder, the nail sticking out of the wall, and his ring finger, he caught the ring with his finger on the nail, and his ring peeled the skin all the way off his whole finger.
Oh,
It's, you know, just, I mean, he was like 6-8 feet up in the air, not a huge long distance, but I mean, when he fell off the ladder, you know, he grabbed for the wall and caught that ring on a nail and just ripped the skin right off, peeled it off like a catfish. And after I seen that, when I started contracting, I said there was no way that I would ever allow anybody working on the job site wearing a ring.
yeah, that's a bad day.
Oh, it was disgusting. That was the most traumatic thing I've seen a whole lot worse accidents, a lot worse, you know. But that was the one that stuck out in my mind the most.
My father told me the story of the worst thing that he had seen, and I can picture it, and I don't want to, but it sounded horrifying. My father did bridge and tunnel construction, and so the suspended bridges, the way they work is there's weights, enormous concrete weights that go up and down inside of these chambers that lift and drop the bridges up and down. And so they were supposed to have this bridge closed off so they could work on it. So there was a guy apparently standing on the top of one of the weights, and he was working inside of the chamber where the weight goes up and down. And he was standing on top of it, chipping out the wall with his jackhammer and repairing the wall. But apparently a boat come through, and
Oh God, yep.
they decided apparently to start moving the bridge up and down. Well, he was inside where that like multi-ton weight was. He's standing on it, and it started moving, and he fell down in between where the weight was in the wall, and it literally just crushed him, and it smeared him against the wall like a pat of butter.
Oh man!
And my father apparently was right there, and it just,
Dude.
it was like a bug, and it just like a human squashing a bug. And yeah, so apparently that was kind of one of the most terrible things that he had ever actually been.
Oh man, that would be a horrible thing to see.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see it.
No, the only death that I've ever seen on the job site was a kid drinking water.
Oh.
It was like 105, 106, 107 degrees on out, and he was like a 20-year-old kid. Grab the water jug like we do at construction site, hold a 5-gallon water jug up over your head and let the water just pour in your mouth. It was ice water. Well, we'd typically just take 1 or 2 swallows out of the ice water, just something to kind of cool you.
Yeah.
Guzzle it. This kid went on over there and he just started pouring and guzzling it on down. And I told him, I says, don't do that. I says, you'll have a stroke.
Yeah.
And he says, oh, I do this all the time. And he picked it up there and one more time, so chugged down a whole bunch more. Took 10 steps, dropped, and we couldn't revive him.
Yeah, he went into shock. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Yeah, it's one of those jobs. It's like a split moment. You just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But for the most part, if you're paying attention, and you're careful, you'll be all right. But there's the 90% is when you're getting too comfortable or too complacent or not paying attention that something happens.
I think we all have to go through our stage in our younger years of life of learning the hardships and learning the hard ways. And those that are lucky enough to survive those learning curves come out a whole lot wiser in the long run.
Well, it's funny. It's one of those things where it's I saw a saying or something that said something about it's the people that are in a profession, or what is it? It's people that are in a profession that is dangerous when they are older, that you have to be careful of, because it's like they know something that you don't.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, I had to learn the hard way in my younger years, and and then I learned what I could and could not do, and I also knew that there's some stuff that I was still doing dangerously, but I knew it wouldn't cost me my life if I screwed up. But hey, I'm going to be right back. I got to go grab another beer. This can got emptied too dang quick.
I feel your pain.
I wish I could play something on the TV.
Yeah, I'll be right back also.
Hey, y'all, I got something to show you. Anybody that's still on in here. Now, this was manufactured by Haas Tools. And if you can read it on here, let's see if I can get it on here where you can see it on camera. Can you all read that? Can you all read what that says? It says it's a bullshit grinder. Made by Haas Tools. See, you just crank this handle, and you see that it just grinds. The same with this side here, doing the same thing. Maybe I can show you the both sides at once. Let's see here. You know, they sent Haas Tools sent this to me to try on out as a bullshit grinder for my garden, and it works really good. But I got to tell y'all, that I told Haas Tools on this thing. I said that this bullshit grinder is too small. You won't keep up with the bullshit that I got around here.
Oh, I need one of them.
You see how that works, Mike?
I got 3 kids. I could use one of them all day long.
See that? It's here. Look at this here. See, it says bullshit grinder on it.
Wow. I could use the industrial size with this guy.
Oh God.
And then they just put 2 slots through here to take a round dowel. And each round dowel has a screw in it, and you just crank it on around. So it's moving those dowels, each of the dowels back and forth, this one and this one this way. That's kind of a cool gimmick deal. Put
If I could put one of them on a timer, what time do you get off the school bus?
I mean, 3 like.
And what time do you get home from work? So, where's the frying pans? Hold on.
You better get invested in a Dutch oven for a hard hat.
I'm gonna have another concussion here soon.
Wait, what?
I know your pain.
Old people.
Kyle, what? Old people? Really?
There ain't no old people here.
Kyle's like, really? Old people? I'm like, what? I'm gonna play Three Stooges on you further.
Okay, old people.
We get one of them vices where you can put your head in it and just.
Okay, old person.
Oh yeah.
No, Chris, my daughter hasn't been turning blue lately.
Hey, look, one person saw it. Hey, look, another.
When you had the blue dye on your leg and your.
Hey, look, another stock. Look at that.
You.
Oh, look. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Run.
What? Oh, what's this?
I mean, I have
You all right? I don't know. It's like dancing over here or something.
Okay, keep it down.
Okay, then.
It is what it is.
So we have a lot of chat going on.
Yeah, Chris was wondering if my daughter's been turning blue lately. Did you see that video?
No.
Oh, my daughter was having some pains in her arm and stuff, and her arms was starting to turn blue, and her hands and her leg. Both of my actually, it was her left arm and her left leg. Her leg wasn't giving her any pain, but her arm started turning blue, and then her hand started turning blue. And so she went to the ER room.
Stop.
It was a blue dye. It was a blue dye from her brand new Levi's.
Oh.
Worse than once. Worse than once.
Gee, that's crazy.
After once, so you would have thought that after washing them, they wouldn't leak the dye anymore. But
Don't fly warmer hands. Ugh. Boston wanted to do that same deal.
Alexander Sis says that's the worst. If you witness something like that, it would give you nightmares. I don't know the easy road in life. I always take the hard road. I always take the hard road, but I don't do it on purpose. I saw I saw a funny a post online that said, I always do my own stunts, but they're not intentional.
That's for sure.
And I'm like, I shared that on my, I'm like, that's me. I'm like, I do my own stunts, but I don't mean to. It just if a camera followed me, it'd be like Funniest Home Videos 24.
You want to know why? Leave in 2 hours.
James says ladders of the most dangerous tools on the jobs. Those are the ones that will get you.
I don't sit it.
Mark says that's one way to fill a crack.
You're not opening that can. I'm opening.
Have you thought about doing any timber framing? And I'm not referring to your shop where you're talking about the pole barn, but have you thought about doing any timber framing like an arbor or anything like that?
I would love to. I really would love to.
I'm thinking about, you know how I got that green chair out here by the fire pit, and I got the scaffolding set up for a little roof over the top of it. It looks kind of redneck the way I got it set up, but you know what I'm talking about out here?
Yeah, yeah.
I've been thinking about building a pole, you know, what did I just call that?
Like
Timber frame structure for a chair on out there.
yeah.
And but I'm thinking about making it easy rather than, you know, they have, you know, all the other channels, they have all the fancy equipment. I'm thinking about if I cut the 6x6 and then you make the mortise and tenon cuts, you know, where they come together.
Yep.
You're gonna get about cutting the slot on in with the bandsaw, you know, from the top, you know, set up for the depths and clamp something in there so the saw can only come in so far.
Yep.
You know. And then I don't know if you know what a oh shoot, what's that fairly new tool. They came out with them just a few years before I quit working.
Like a Morrison tool or
No, they have this tool that it's for cutting.
like a beam saw?
No, it's like a razor. It has a vibrating. It vibrates back and forth. It's Dremel makes one.
Oh,
What are those called? I figured that I could use that to make it do the cut through after I got the two side cuts.
yeah. I've never had one, but I know what you're talking about.
It has an osculating blade.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I've never had one of them, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I got one on out here. I figured that will make it really easy for doing a timber frame.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like oscillating and it goes back and forth and just yep.
Mhm.
Yep. And I don't remember what they're called either. Oh, they're popular for using for like cutting the bottom of like doorway trim. For cutting like thresholds and stuff. That a lot of people use them for that.
Yeah, it is a multi-tool, but the one that I got isn't called a multi-tool. Well, maybe they call it I've noticed that in different areas they call different tools different things.
Yeah, I can't keep up with the name of all. Yeah.
Tools.
See your firewood? There.
All I know is I'm getting really close to being able to start doing some wood projects around here. Yes, your shed being one of them.
Yeah, did you see did I share the video of the garage?
No, I've fallen way behind with everything with deer season and then trying to get caught up around here on my own stuff that I thought after deer season I'd be able to start catching up on videos, but I got so far behind on my own stuff that I haven't got.
I got my little shop off the house, kind of in what used to be a family room, is my little shop back there. But I have a garage that's 22 by 22, and we always store just random crap in it. So I went into the garage and I emptied that into the basement. Well, not emptied, but there's still a lot of crap out there. But I tore all the drywall out of it, off the ceiling, the walls, everything. And I had a friend who came over tonight who's a drywall contractor, and he pointed out everything I need to do. He's like, you need to get a bunch of strapping, put it up there, and then we're going to refinish it with all 5/8 drywall. So I'm gonna get all the strapping here over the next week, put that in there, and then he's gonna come back in with a bunch of 5/8 drywall. We'll finish it all off, and then I'll have a complete 22 by 22 foot garage area that I'll be able to use for my shop. And I'm actually going to remove one of the garage doors. It's two car garage, but it's meant for small cars, which we don't have. So we never use the garage for cars. I'm going to take one of the garage doors out. I'll put a regular door in. We'll use the other side for the garage door in there, and we'll use that for bringing in and out bigger stuff. And I'm going to turn that whole garage into my workshop. So it's going to be a big project, but hopefully by the end of December, I'll have like a really nice big garage to work in. That's my goal.
Hey, Chris, you're asking, Chris Clark says, hey, Chris, how do you keep your water supply from freezing? Chris, we don't have the extreme temperatures like Mike has. We do get down. I've seen it get down as low as 7 degrees Fahrenheit. I've never seen it actually get down to 0. 7 is the coldest, and that's usually in January. And around here, all I got to do to keep the pipe from freezing is just crack the water on a little bit and let it run. If I don't crack it, crack it open, then the pipes will freeze for 3 or 4 or 5 days a week. And but we have all PEX piping in here, so it can freeze all at once. It won't break. The only problem I have with problems with things freezing and breaking is the traps, like the trap for the washing machine and stuff like that.
If you're trying to get some advice for yourself, that has a lot to do. There's a lot of questions, like what type of plumbing do you have? Where is the plumbing? What type of insulation do you have? There's like a lot of factors in how to keep your pipes from freezing. So it would take a little bit of analyzing to figure out like how to address that for yourself. Yeah.
For me, all I have to do typically is just crack the water on just a little trickle, and the water doesn't freeze here. We don't. I have lived in areas where it was a huge problem, and what I would do, like with my place up in Alaska, I had electrical heat tape that I taped to the plumbing, and then use that black foam stuff that's for the pipe. So I wrapped all my pipe with the electrical heat tape, and then I put the styrofoam on it, and then I had a switch that I could turn the heat tape on. If I knew, basically during the wintertime up in Alaska, I left it on all winter long.
Yeah, if you have some stuff that's exposed completely outside, you can get the heat tape and plug it in. But if you're talking about like trying to prevent your interior plumbing from freezing, it all depends on where it is, what type of insulation you have. There's a lot of questions that go into that.
The heat tape would just run underneath the crawl space and stuff in those places.
Right, and we actually deal with that a lot in the house we're in, because the house we're in actually it's cantilevered, so the back of the house actually cantilevers over the back of the foundation about 2 feet. So in that cantilever, we actually have some plumbing, and that has to be insulated really well, or the pipes freeze. And we've actually had that happen. And when I didn't have it happen, I had a spray foam insulation company come in and spray foam it, and now we don't have that problem. And I had to monitor kind of what was happening in that space and figure out what sort of temperatures that we were getting in there to figure out what was going to make the most sense. And spray foam absolutely solved that problem. So it all depends on your climate and what type of plumbing you have and where that plumbing is going in your house. Definitely makes a big difference.
Well, I tell you what, I will say this: anybody that lives in a cold climate, or even a climate like that we have, where we only get down to maybe a week a week at the most at 7 degrees during the wintertime. I wouldn't run, you know, if I had to replace any plumbing in my, I would replace with a CP, or not the CPVC. I would replace with the PEX pipe. I am so
Yeah. Yeah, the
So-
PEX is great because it can freeze and it'll flex and there's no cracking or splitting.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we've had our PEX freeze, which, you know, the worst case scenario, it's your water stops flowing. And then you put a heater under it and it thaws out and your water starts flowing again.
You're good to go again. Yeah.
Yep.
It's I mean, out here, I got some outdoor faucets on outside that I ran the underground. I ran all PVC, you know, an inch and a half PVC, you know, down to my well and the different stuff, and that's 2 foot under, so it's well outside. And then where I stubbed up for our water spigots, I stubbed up with pipe. I've never done anything to protect our faucet pipes on out there. They freeze up every year when it gets cold. They never break. You know, I mean, with the brass faucet on there and the galvanized, that never breaks. It withstands the freezing. Aluminum, I've used copper. It expands, it splits. Yep. I've used PVC where it gets to the cold and freezes, it shatters. You know, so the only thing that I would highly, if you know it's going to freeze, PEX piping is the only way to go. Galvanized is fine, but the problem with galvanized is in time it will get basically hardening of the arteries. It'll rust up and it will slowly restrict the water flow.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, girl.
Mama Bear, she said, how's it going? They don't sell a mollicized anymore. Large sickles that you swing back and forth to clear out brush. Oh, I have those. Yep. I actually use those. They work good if you keep them sharp. Now you have to buy the thing in 2 pieces. Huh. Never seen that. I have no idea why they typed that twice. I had to put on 140 PVC. I had to put in our 70-foot trailer. Mark says, gotta take the puppy out. It seems like he always wants to go out after I sit down. Hey, Mama Bear, she said, Tracy Keaton, have a good night. Chris Clark Bones says, I live in the South Central Ohio.
Will you like the heat?
Hey, Ohio gets cold. I don't know much about that. That's cold country, isn't it?
Ohio?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like central part. So it's probably gets cold, but probably not a whole lot of. It's probably like a similar climate where you're at, I would imagine.
Ohio gets snow. I know that.
Yeah, Ohio gets probably like some snow, get some cold temperatures, but
we get only maybe three days to maybe a week's worth of snow a year.
Really?
Yeah, we don't get much snow at all here. Yeah, we go up the road up about 10, 15 miles up here, and there'll be 3 or 4 feet of deep of snow up there. So we're at our elevation, we're just below that snow line.
Wow. Yeah, here we get snow from November
Sometimes.
all the way to March, April. Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes we'll get 2 or 3 feet in one storm. Yeah.
That's one thing I do miss about Alaska. I loved having the heavy snowstorms that we'd get on occasion up there.
And it doesn't even phase us here. It's like
I love it.
they're going to call for like 20 inches of snow. And we're like, all right, or we're just going to sit tight and wait till it plows.
But
No.
when you get that heavy snowfall, it is so quiet outside.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I go outside in it. I like to
Oh,
walk.
yeah.
Oh, enjoy
And
that.
I do miss that because, I mean, I live on the Courtsville Scenic Byway out here, which is mainly logging traffic. During the summer months, we get a lot of campers traveling back and forth, the loggers. During the winter months, we just have the log trucks and the people going up to work and stuff, logging in the woods. But when we do get that snow, they're all going still to work. It doesn't slow them down a bit. But when they're going by, it's still so much quieter.
I used to do the same thing as a kid when I lived down in the Boston area when the hurricanes used to come up up the coast, and we used to get hurricane warnings. Me and my sister used to go outside when the winds got really high, and we would go outside because it was quiet except for the wind, and we would just listen to the wind, and we would go outside and put our hands up and get blown around. We always thought it was fun. We're like, hey, the wind's blowing us around. Meanwhile, everyone's running for cover, and we're like, hey, this is fun.
Here we are.
Come get me.
Not get string to me, fly me like a kite.
Yeah, I mean, my sister's a little nuts anyway, but yeah.
Down in Redding, we didn't get a whole lot of rain down there in Redding, California. That's where they had a lot of the huge fires. I mean, half of Redding burnt and stuff where I grew up at. Anyway, I mean, we got a lot of rain, but not at once. When it would rain, it would rain hard. I mean, it would come down in buckets. And it'd be hellacious thunder and lightning storms on out there. Not like out in the Midwest, but it was still some really good thunder and lightning storms. And then the rain would come. And I remember as a kid, I loved going out there. When everybody was running for cover and stuff, I was running on out there to go play in that rain. I mean, it just felt so good. It was coming down in torrents. And it wasn't a cold rain. Now, here we get the cold freezing rains and stuff. And it ain't comfortable to be out in. But down in Redding, those were warm rains that we got.
Yeah.
Almost tropical, but not quite tropical, but still, it felt good getting out. I mean, because we only experienced rain maybe 5 or 6 times a year. When it rained, it was a lot, but it was so unique, it was so different. We wanted to be out in it.
Yeah, that was the same with the windstorms that we used to get in Boston when I was growing up. When the hurricanes came up, we just thought it was as kids, we thought it was the greatest thing. You'd go outside and you can actually feel the storm push you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we thought that was, we're like, all right, this storm is moving me. This is fun. Like, we thought it was the greatest thing. And, nowadays people think that's crazy. They're like, when there's a storm, you need to come in and like take shelter. And I'm like, I used to go out and play in that. Like, really? We're taking shelter? I think that's fun. Like, are you kidding me?
I know. I mean, it used to be no matter what, you went to school and everything, but anymore, if there's a snow forecast at all, forecasted in the next week, it's only going to snow for a couple hours and then it's going to be over with. They'll shut our schools down for a week here.
Yeah.
So there's a snowstorm forecast. I mean,
It freezes.
it's gone crazy here on that stuff.
Surprisingly, in our area, they're actually the other direction on it. Like, we had the winter storm Avery. They all had still all had school. They sent the plows out. They plowed the roads. The buses came through. They picked the kids up, and they all went to school. And we had Winter Storm Avery. It was a named storm, and it was a pretty good storm. We got a pretty good amount of snow. First storm of the year, they were all in school.
Yeah, not like that. If we get 2 inches of snow, they're shutting our schools down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was expecting the school to be closed, but they kept running the buses and they were off to school, and I was like, wow.
But the buses were late. I forget why.
And we live up on kind of the side of a mountain, so I was actually almost kind of nervous to the point where I was almost going to drive them to school myself, because I was kind of worried because the buses sometimes take risks driving the kids. And I've heard some stories where the kids are like, oh yeah, the bus was sliding sideways one day. And I'm like, really?
Yes, that happened.
Oh yeah. Kyle will tell you too. Like, that happens more than once. It happens all the time where the bus is like, oh, hold on, kids. And then they come home like, hey, guess what the bus did today? And I'm like, that's not okay. I'm like, really?
When my daughter was in high school, she went to the Oregon School for the Deaf up in Salem, which is about an hour's drive, and it's a boarding school up there for the deaf. So she come on homes on weekends, and then either we would drive her up or the school district would drive her up to the school and drop her off for the week, and then she stayed at the boarding school for the deaf there. Well, this one time, I don't remember why I was. Most of the time I drove her up there. And this one morning, Monday morning, we get on up to go, and it's snowing on out and stuff. I'm driving on up to Salem, or actually Kaiser, which is part of Salem. But I'm driving on up, the roads are just fine. I got a 4-wheel drive, pickup, full size pickup. I'm driving all the way up. I get up to Albany, Oregon. All the way up there, I'm doing the speed limit, 55, 65 miles an hour. No problem whatever. As soon as I pulled on the freeway, instantly it was right at the freeway, there was 2 inches of ice. I got on the freeway, and with 4-wheel drive, I could hardly move. That ice was so slick.
Yeah.
But of course, you're on the freeway. You can't just turn around. You can't back up or anything. So I had to fight my way with the stop and go traffic for like 2 hours to get to the next exit. As soon as I got off the exit, then it was no problem. Got off the freeway, then there was no more ice. I drove back home and said, okay, Angela, you're not going to school now.
Then the next day, they took me up there.
She ended up going back to the school district, was able to take her up the next day.
Then a week later, it happened again. Then I was out for a whole week. Sheesh.
Yeah, we get a lot of stuff like that around here too.
Well, what we do get around here this nasty isn't so much snow. We get a freezing rain.
Yep.
And that does get nasty. I would much rather drive in the snow than the freezing rain. I mean, I tell you what, the freezing rain that we get here gets really, really nasty.
Yeah, here, like I don't mind the snow if it's very sticky and I can get traction in it, but when there's like ice under it, that sucks. Like I have that new Bobcat with the snow tracks on it, and every year the first snowfall always turns to ice. The first snowfall always turns to ice. And same thing happened. I was trying to plow the first snowfall with that track machine, and I was just sliding down the driveway with it.
Mm-hmm.
After that, all the ice and snow will get packed down, and then we'll have good traction, and then it won't be a problem. But it's just that very first snow, and then it freezes, and then it just turns to ice. Every year.
Instead of trying to plow it off, what if you try to just pack it down with the skid steer?
Pack it down?
Yeah.
It's just packing it down. It's just going to turn it all to flat ice.
So it was thawed out and turned to ice and just not just packed snow.
Yeah, it for whatever reason, like the ground is hard, and then it just the first snow always turns to slick. And luckily, the property that we're on, it's all sand underneath. So tonight, before we did the live stream, I went out there and I dug into the side of the hill. I grabbed a couple of big buckets full of sand, and I went down the driveway, and I just kept shaking the bucket as I went down the driveway. And I sanded the whole driveway, 300 feet all the way up. Took me about 15 minutes with a bucket of sand, and I sanded the whole driveway, and now we have good traction.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to start. You'll have to start making a sand pile each summer to get ready for winter.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That would be a good idea because we have a lot of sand here, and I went into the back of the yard and I dug out some of the snow. And then once I got down to the sand, I just took a big scoop of it, and I went down the driveway and just shook it all off the bucket and sanded the whole driveway.
Yeah, and if you keep on building up get a big good layer of sand on the driveway, then in the spring just go up there and restockpile that same sand up and reuse it again.
Exactly. Or dig out that hill and put a bunch of gravel and loam over the yard and just.
Oh yeah, if you have a reason to dig it out and you want to move it, you want to flatten that out more. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, that's we do want to dig out that hill more. So I'm figuring if I dig out that hill, I'll create a big pile of sand by the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll have kind of a central spot to be able to pull the sand from and be able to sand the driveway every year. But we used to have to go down to the town and get buckets of sand to sand our driveway with. But once I started digging down in our property and then realized how much sand was here, then I realized why the city was trying to get rid of so much sand that they had.
Yeah.
And it turned out, we realized that the reason the town was trying to get rid of so much sand is that they were trying to clear a big piece of property that they had, and it was all sand. And it's the same here. Our property is all sand, and we're trying to excavate the back part of it to make the front part of it higher. So I'm like, well, forget them. Let's just dig our own sand out. And it's almost like this entire town is like all sand. It's like sand is everywhere, which is unusual for New Hampshire because a lot of New Hampshire is granite. And anytime you dig down, you hit ledge, and the ledge is all granite. But where we're at, this particular location,
we need to find out how much. We need to find out how much it would cost you to mill me a piece of granite about 2 inches thick and about 16 or 18 inches square roughly. You don't have to be perfect. How much do you think it costs to ship that?
2 inches thick and 18 inches long?
16, 18 inches square, something like that, or round. It don't have to be square. I mean, because granite is great for fires. It won't just shatter with heat and crack. All the rock that we have around here, you put heat to it and it busts up.
Yeah.
And I would love to get some granite to be able to cook on my open pit outside.
Yeah, we have a lot of granite here. Yeah, it's most of the rock that you hit around here is all granite. And
well, if you come across something like that, something that meets that description, weigh it and find out so I can send you the money for postal service for it.
yeah. Actually, I have a bunch of chunks of slate, just slate material that I don't need or want. We have like some slate sitting around here that I pulled out of the ground that I have no need for.
Yeah, if that It's hold to the heat. That'd be great too. Just anything that I can fire and not have it bust up every time I cook.
Yeah, if slate will work for you, I have some of that.
Well, try it in the fire and see if it breaks.
Yeah, we should have a fire. We'll throw
Not right now.
right now.
Oh, baby.
Not right now.
We got all this shell rock out here, and it really breaks. I mean, shell rock is really pretty. It's great for if I can find enough big chunks of it anymore. Everybody's been stealing it from the woods. People like me, but I would love to make a shell rock patio on out here, but it's getting hard to find the big sheets of the shell rock anymore.
Yeah, the last property we owned was all it was like all granite. And we had 10 acres.
Oh,
And it was the side of a mountain. Literally.
yeah.
If you wanted granite, that was the property to own because it was literally like all granite. It was ledge. It was the side of a mountain. Like you would need like massive jackhammers to get something from it. And the house was built into the side of it. Created like major drainage problems, which is why we ended up walking away from it. But so that there's still that kind of part of town, like where the mountain is still pretty prominent, and it's all rock and ledge. But where we're at now, it's like mostly sand. Kind of,
Lava bear. Yeah, no, Mike is saying that it's like he's put heat to it. He says it explodes.
So Chris Clark says, looking forward to seeing some more of your daughter's photography work.
Yeah, she's got to get some more uploaded.
I need help with editing one.
Yeah.
I have two of them I need edit. I need help with showing how.
Okay.
Mama Bear says, our winter consists of 2 months. I'm jealous. Because our winter consists of about 6 months. It's all the way from like October to March, April. Almost into May. Like, so,
I'm making a video of my surgery.
getting the snow right up through May. But definitely April.
Yeah, I wish we had more winter here, more winter weather.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, not the rain. I don't mean the rain weather.
I want snow.
I would much rather have more snow. I would rather have the snow only for a month or two. You know, not like the 4 or 5 months like you guys get, or 6 months or whatever it is.
I was gonna say you can have the snow.
I would love to live in an area where we got about 6 to 8 weeks of snow a year.
That's fine. Yeah. But we have put like 6 months of snow. I can't stand that.
It's not the snow that I dislike. What I don't like is the thaw.
Oh, the mud. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot of the spring. We have winter, and then we have mud season.
Yeah.
Where everything is just soft and you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible. Yeah, we have the same thing here. It's like all sloppy, and we all wear mud boots. And even when you step outside in the mud boots, your boots get stuck in the mud. When you go to take a step, your
foot comes out.
Your boot stays in the mud, and you take a step, and it's like, oh, there's my foot, but my boot's still there in the ground.
And then you got to try to get your foot back in there so you don't get mud on your sock.
Exactly. And then once you get foot back in, then you get to figure out how the heck am I going to get my mud boot out? Because it's like suction. It's yeah, it's terrible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Here on our place, we have a lot of clay. I mean, our whole hillside is either clay or shell rock. This is clay or shell rock here. And, you know, I mean, we had a heck of a time with getting a garden on in there. We had to, you know, the soil that we had to work hard to get it to where we could get a good garden.
Dad, what are you doing?
He's leaving there for me to supervise you. Make sure you don't get in any trouble. See, your dad even left me with a paintball gun to shoot you if you got into trouble. Your dad probably left you with a shoot ball gun to get to shoot me with if I did anything out of line. So are you playing a game there?
Yeah.
Well, what game are you playing?
Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
What's it called?
Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Oh, are you pretty good at it?
Well, yeah.
What level are you on?
Not sure.
Yeah, I never was any good at any of those games. The only type of games that I know how to play on computers or things is just the solitaire games.
Oh,
But I'm a master at playing solitaire.
hey, you know I play that bomb game. That bomb game, Dad.
Mm-hmm.
You're better than me at. You get me to play the dance game, I'll beat you for that one. I beat you or somebody else at work for that stupid game.
I'm sure he does, Chris. He's a pretty smart kid. He's asking if you know how to play the rotor, how to use a rotary phone. Or do you know what a rotary phone is?
No.
Well, the old type of phones, instead of having push buttons, they had a dial in the middle that was a circle and it had 9 holes in it. And you had to turn the circle. You put your finger in the hole for you had to dial 1, you put your finger in the 1 number, then you dial it to the 1. And then the next number is 4, you put your finger in the 4 hole and you dial it to the 4. I'm sure if you've seen the rotary phone, you know exactly how to use it.
Oh, I do. I used to have one.
Now, Chris, I got to ask, how old are you to even know what a rotary phone is? Man, we must be old farts to know what rotary phones are.
Grandma used to have one. That's how I knew. Remember? Grandma used to have one.
You tired?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, me too. It's getting pretty close to my bedtime. Oh, wow. It's got to be 12:15 where you're at.
Yeah.
Wow. You get to stay up that late? Well, I guess it is a weekend.
Yeah. Should be
You
good.
gotta have your dad time, huh? That's pretty cool.
Oh. Sleepy time.
Oh, I didn't know I could roll.
Going to turn 52 in January. Well, you're just a young pup too, Chris.
Hey, I didn't know I could roll these up.
Yeah, I'm turning 60 in December.
Yeah, Christmas.
I'm gonna be 25.
Yeah, right.
Hey, I'm 30. Jeez. You're 30 years old.
No, you're not.
26. You're right. Sorry.
Lucky I am.
But I remember when my mom turned 30, and I thought that was a lot of old.
Yeah, what is it? 2018. My mom's 64 this year. My dad would have been 64 this year.
Your folks weren't much older than me then.
Yeah, my father passed away last year in September, and he was 62. And then my mom turned 63 in April. So she'll be 64 this coming April.
Yeah, I'm older than my mom was when she died. My mom was, I think, 58 when she died.
Yeah, I always look at my grandparents and parents as my model of where I'm going to be at, which kind of scares me because both of my mother's parents died when they were 65. My father died when he was 62.
You know,
His mother died when she was 65. And I'm like, oh, hell, I'm screwed. I'm like,
my dad just died. My real dad just died this last year. He was like 80, 84, I believe. I don't remember. Maybe 85. But he had a good long life. And his dad, my dad's dad, he lived to be in his 90s. He was like 94 when he died. My grandma, his mom died when she was she was about 80 when she died of Alzheimer's, but she would still reach 80. And then on my grandpa, on my mom's side, my grandpa Gordon, he lived to be right around 90.
wow.
But my grandma Gordon, she died when she was like 56. I mean, she was so obese that her fat drowned out her heart and killed her.
Right.
But
I didn't know about that.
but I mean, so we got two people that died at a young age in our family. Both of them on my mom's side. No, one. Yeah, both of them on my mom's side. My mom died at a young age, and her mom died at a young age.
So she
But
had
everybody else,
cancer.
lived to be ripe old ages.
Wow.
Cancer.
Yeah, my family, my grandma and grandpas are all in their early 60s. So,
Oh yeah,
that's why I look at I'm in my 40s now. That's why I look at my 40s like, yeah, I'm not that old, but at the same time, I kind of am if I'm only going to be in my 60s when I die.
right.
It's like,
Yeah, you got to consider where your parents come from. Now, my grandparents on my dad's side, my great grandpa Charlie, he was 92 when he died, and he would have lived a lot longer, except for when he was like 60. No, when he was on his 80th birthday, he was repairing his roof, and the roof on his porch roof. And the porch roof collapsed on his 80th birthday, and he broke both of his hips. That was back in the 60s. He never walked again, and I think that shortened his life, but he still lived to be like 92.
Gee.
And then Grandma Dee Dee, his wife, lived to be 98.
Yep. Damn. Yeah, see, no, I think in perfect health, I'd be happy to live to 70, but that might be kind of a long shot.
Well,
So,
I'll tell you what, if I feel anywhere near like I feel like I am now, mentally speaking, at 70, I mean, I actually don't feel like I'm any older than 50, mentally speaking. And on my good days, I still feel like I'm 45 or 50. I have a lot of bad days that I feel like I'm 80 or 90, but when my back is not just drenched with arthritis and, I mean, I'm just hurting, hurt like hell on days where I'm really feeling good, I can still get a lot accomplished.
yeah. Yeah, I hope to be able to defy the odds. I mean, all of my grandparents grew up down in the city in Boston, and I'm not finishing my life off the same way, so that might have some bearing on what I'm doing as opposed to what they did.
Well, I think our diet and everything has come a long ways too, versus what was happening then. And here's another thing that you got going for you. My brother-in-law, Jack, his dad was 38 years old when he died, and and my brother-in-law's grandpa was 38 years old when he died.
What?
They're very young, so I mean, very bad bloodline there. But Jack Marler, when he was 30, he had a 6-way bypass. Now that was Jack Marler's. Well, he's got to be about at least 10 years older. He's in the 70s, and he's still going strong. Both his parents and his grandparents, died at the age of 38. And at 38, he had to have a 6-way bypass, and now he's in the 70s. So I mean, we've come a long ways. Jack Marler, Barbara's husband.
Oh, Steve Barber's, right?
This Steve's sister. My brother Steve that lives in Dallas, his sister's husband.
Oh, I didn't know him.
No, you don't know him.
Never knew that.
Our family's so big and spread on out around the country. My daughter doesn't know half the family.
I never met him.
I have the same thing here. Like my father had 13 brothers and sisters.
Oh, they're cute.
They were all born in Boston. My father was an Irish Catholic family, so they had a very big family. They were all born at home. My father's grandparents were right off the boat from Ireland, and so my grandmother, all of her kids were born right at their home. My father had 13 brothers and sisters, and then my mom, my mother's father, was from Greece, and he came over from Greece and met my grandma, and they got together and they had 17 children. And mother has
I
6
don't want to be a big family. Used to go to wish.
of 16 brothers and sisters, and my oldest uncle just died last year in his 80s, and my mom just turned 63 this year. So I have a huge family. My mother, both. My mom has 16 brothers and sisters, and my father has 13.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty
It's a big family.
large family. Yeah.
Well, see, my family. I come from a large family too, but not that type of large. I had 3 real brothers, 1 foster sister, 4 stepsisters, and 2 stepbrothers. So that's why it's a large family. But I mean, most of it is all step or a foster.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of people are. It's funny because I grew up with the family that I have, with the aunts and uncles, that it was just normal. Like growing up with 20 or 30 aunts and uncles, I always thought that was normal.
Mm-hmm.
So when people were like, well, I only have like 2 aunts and an uncle, and I'm like, that's weird. I always thought that was weird, and I'm like, that's all, really? And they're like, yeah, all I have is, like, that's strange. I always thought that was awkward. I'm like,
I always thought it was strange that in my case with aunts and uncles, not great aunts and uncles, but just aunts and uncles. My dad was an only child. He never had, so I didn't have any aunts and uncles on that. His cousins we kind of called uncles and stuff. But I mean, there was no actual blood uncle. From on my mom's side now, she came from a big family and so we had all sorts of aunts and uncles over there. But it's so weird that I only had aunts and uncles on my mom's side and didn't really have any on my dad's side.
And you know what? Stuff like that is fairly normal. Like you might have a family where it's like you don't have an aunts and uncles on your father's side, but you might have like 1 aunt or 1 uncle or maybe an aunt and uncle on your mom's side. And that's it. And that's like normal. But then like growing up, people were always like, you have how many aunts and uncles? I'm like, 32. And they're like, what?
Oh, holy cow.
Like, why, you don't? And they're like, no. And I'm like, I always thought that was weird. I'm like, people are like, well, I only have like an aunt and an uncle. And I'm like, that's it? Really? I always thought it was strange. And I'm like, that's all you have?
Duggars.
Yeah.
Duggars.
Like you came from the Duggar family.
Duggar family.
Exactly. Yeah. Like,
hey, do y'all know what causes this?
I thought that was normal. Like, okay, well. And then when I got older and people started asking questions, and talking to Stacey, like all that stuff, they were like, what? Your family's how big? And then I started realizing, like, oh, this is not normal. I'm like, okay, all right, well, this is weird. And then, and actually Stacey's family is very big too, because she has, 3 or 4 sisters? I think she has 4 sisters and a brother. So she has a pretty good sized family. And to them, when I met them, they're like, you have a ridiculously big family. And I'm like, I do? And they're like, and I'm like, I thought you did, because you have like 4 sisters. And they're like, no, like, I'm like, well, I only have 30 aunts and uncles. Like, but I only have 1 sister, so that's not that big. I have a lot of aunts and uncles, but I only have 1 sister. You have like 4 sisters, so that's.
So you didn't have any brothers?
I have no brothers. Nope.
So just you and your sister.
Yeah, my sister is 1.5 years younger than I am.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's 1.5 years younger than me, but 10 times crazier than I am.
Well, I got my brother, my next brother up 10 times crazier than me.
Yeah.
Like I had no
that's just I don't know how you saw it. It's just a camel. The one that I did that when I was drunk. I'm not very proud of it. because that's what my tattoo was.
I tattooed myself by accident when I was like 6. I stabbed myself in the hand with a pencil.
Oh man.
Ouch!
Yeah, that would do it. Get lead poisoning that way.
I freshly sharpened a pencil and I thought it would be cool to see how sharp it was. So I grabbed a paper bag and I was like, hey, this is cool. And I stabbed myself in the hand. I did that when I was 6. And now I'm 41. I still have the mark in my hand. The same
Oh, wow.
one little speck of pencil lead, and I still have it in my hand.
Oh man, you're going to die of lead poisoning.
I am. Yep. 40 years later, I'm probably gonna die of it.
No, well, it might be another 40 years from now, but it will kill you when you're like 85, 90.
That will be my demise. That will be right there.
Look at me, I'm an only child. Yeah.
California law says that will kill me.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't kill me, it will be a plastic straw.
Oh, let me see if I got this on here. I want to show you something. Speaking of California law, let's see here. Maybe it's in text. I'll have to. See if I can find it. I'm not sure where it's at, but a friend of mine, his friend went down to Mexico.
I'm gonna punch you.
A couple packs of Pall Malls
Yeah,
Pall Mall, nice.
from Mexico. And if I can show you, I want to show you the Surgeon General warning. Look at what they have on cigarettes.
Are you all right?
Stop.
I'm not seeing here. What did I do with that?
You all right?
I wonder if I put it in my pictures.
Oh, you probably did.
I might have shot it with my camera. Maybe that's why I'm not finding it in. Let's see here.
Nice. Anyone else talking? So DP Mike says, I use slate. That stuff cracks with the heat. I had one piece explode that was wet, and I put it on fire. Chris says, I wonder if that young fella knows how to operate a rotary phone. This young fella? No chance. If I showed him a rotary phone, he would be like, what the heck is that?
I know what a rotary phone is. I used it.
I grew up with rotary phones, so yeah. But him, if I showed him a rotary phone, he'd be like, I don't know, what?
Is it like those phones that was in Grandpa Huey's basement?
Exactly.
Oh.
He's like, is that a rotary phone like just like in Grandpa Huey's basement? Yes. Grandpa Huey liked his rotary phones. So,
Hey,
Grandpa
this
was talking about
is
it.
what it looks like
How to use.
about a mile up behind my place. If you go up about a mile up behind my place, this is what it looks like.
wow. That's awesome.
This is the view out there.
That's beautiful.
Pretty much all around us here.
Wow. That's awesome.
Oh, here's another shot of it. It's kind of a better shot.
Oh wow. That's like high elevation. See that?
Yeah, that's only a mile behind me, but it is a lot higher up.
You like that? Yeah. It's awesome,
Yes. I mean, yeah,
They love this picture of the sky.
huh? Oh wow.
Yeah, that's right out here too.
No. No, there.
That's at a little bit lower elevation.
No.
This type of stuff reminds me of the fall in your country. That's right out here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like leaf changing.
Nope. No. Sorry. You can follow it yourself.
And here's our volcano.
What's this? Oh yeah.
You.
Well, where's that picture at?
Oh, no. When I'm done, okay. I'm gonna win too.
No.
You on it?
I don't think so, Jeff.
Yeah, this is a cool picture.
Wow.
Oh, that one? There's a lot of pictures.
Another one of it, a little bit closer up.
So you live pretty high up on elevation wise.
Actually, no. Our elevation here is right close to 1,000 feet. So we're not. It's not that we're high up.
That's about the same where we're at.
It's so steep country that if you go a mile or so, and you are getting high up. I mean, it is steep country here.
Yeah, our elevation is about the same.
Yeah, we're not a huge elevation.
But the White Mountains are a couple hours north of us. It's about 4,000 square feet above ocean.
I don't think so, Tim.
I already drank this batch here.
Ooh, yay.
That's what I made elderberry wine out of right there.
You're gonna make some more.
Yeah. Same time Chinese chicken on here.
A cat?
Yeah.
Which cat?
Thanks.
Oh, we have
Roadkill.
one that's in their house?
Roadkill, yep.
Yeah.
What is this picture at? I thought maybe I had it on here.
Who sent you the picture?
I don't realize that I had this many videos on here. And no wonder why a lot of these I thought I'd deleted off here, but they're videos.
Hey, Rob, how's it going? Hey, I'm gonna get up for a second. I'll be right back.
Okay. Hey, Ron, how's it going? Chris says he's scoot over, Chris. I'm moving in. Oh, here we go. I finally found it.
You all right? Huh?
Yeah.
When you come back, can we play? I'll play with you, okay?
You can't read those. That warning's in Spanish. Yeah, you can't read the warnings, but you can see the pictures on here. Or you guys want to see what's on a pack of Pall Malls in Mexico? A friend of mine, his friend went to Mexico and brought him back some Pall Mall cigarettes. And this is what's on the pack of Pall Mall cigarettes. So you can see Pall Mall written there.
Oh, a guy.
And that's the picture.
Guy was.
That's how they discourage you from smoking in Mexico. I'll show your dad when he gets back here. I think they need to post that type of stuff here in America.
And you need to think about that too. You don't want to talk to Dad. There goes stop. No more. Enough. I'm not playing. Take your ball and go to your doggy bed. Go to your bed, doggy bed now. Go.
Stir fry or no?
I don't know what you're doing, right?
Couple of Ohio ones here.
Go get it. Get the ball.
Stir fry.
Get the ball yourself. Go to your doggy bed. Go to your doggy bed. Go that way. Go to your doggy bed.
I like how you put that, Chris.
Listen, Mom. Don't need more wood in the stove for a while.
Nope, we sure don't. It's hot. I'm thinking about opening up this window. I wish I had the fan still in it.
I haven't put in wood in for a while. Oh God! So,
I don't know. Chris, I don't know about that. But I want to take your word for it because I'm not going to check it out. Oh, I got to get some air in here.
today your daughter got hot.
Got the wood stove ablazing and it's got to be close to 80 in here. Open the windows up and get some fresh air rolling through. That's one thing I like about burning wood. You can get the house hot. And it's only wood. Just open up some windows and let the cold air blaze on through. It feels so good.
79.
Well, that's close enough to 80.
Your daughter got it hot.
Hey, Mike, I found the pack of cigarettes. This is what's on there. I'll show you where it says Pall Mall right there.
Pall Mall.
Yeah, Pall Mall. These came from Mexico.
Oh, nice.
You see that? That's the main picture right on the front of the pack.
That's the way it should be. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, oops.
You still playing video games?
Your camera's similar to mine. Mhm.
You know, I would, you know, one of these days I want to take the time to translate this, but you know, I mean, I can't read that. I would love to know what the translation was here.
For what?
Chris Clark says he heats with a pellet stove.
Yeah, I've thought about that, but then I'm dependent on somebody manufacturing my pellets for me, and I probably will go that way in time.
Yeah, I have so much wood here for free that I have a hard time buying a heat supply.
Yeah. Well, not only that, I would have a hard time affording it. I mean, I'd look comfortable on my means, but if I add to the bills, then it don't quite get so comfortable.
Exactly. Yeah, same here. Yeah, we've always heated, well, since we've been here the last 5 years, we've always heated with our own wood. I can't even see adding to my budget a heating bill.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Well, I've tried heating here with propane. I've tried heating here with electricity, and I always come back to the wood, and I'm going to stay with the wood. I will switch this on out eventually to a pellet stove or a propane stove in the future when I can no longer get the wood from my, you know, to heat the house. When I can't do it anymore, then I want to have to switch over to something for heat here.
Right.
But until then, it's wood heat.
Yeah, I always plan on heating with wood. Like, as long as I can walk and move, I'm gonna heat with wood.
Yeah. Well, what I'm hoping to have here in the next few years, I do want to make a wood processor in the next couple of years. So, I mean, not the big old commercial like you see, you know, on YouTube and stuff. But I've seen some pretty light duty. You know, I mean, I don't need to cut big old trees or nothing. Most of our trees anymore that we get, if we're buying it, I can buy about 10 cords of wood for about $1,000.
Right.
So delivered to the place, and then I got to cut it. And so I'm thinking, and they're all pecker poles. They're anywhere from 4 inches to 12 inches in diameter. So if I can create myself a wood processor that would manage that size wood, you know, I would be good for quite a few years.
Yeah, I'm thinking tonight. Our upstairs here, our wood stove is out of commission right now because of the baffle. The gasket in the baffle was shot, and so we're burning way more wood than we could because he is going up of the chimney. So after this, I'm probably going to go out in the garage.
No. No.
Put a new gasket on it.
Have you seen those? I don't know what they're called, but they go in the chimney. It's like you got your chimney going on up the flue, going on up your 6-inch radius pipe or whatever. And then it goes to like a 12 or 16-inch square box. And then the chimney continues up from that. With the square box that they put inside the chimney there, has holes that go through it.
Oh,
and
yeah, it's like
it's going on through the, and then some of them even put a fan behind that. Would something like that help slow down the draft going on up? And
yeah, it's a heat what do they call it? Heat reclaimer.
yeah, I'm not sure what they're called. I've only seen them a couple of times, but I thought that's a cool idea, but I don't know what the pros and cons are with them.
Yeah, one of my neighbors has it. He calls it a heat reclaimer. So it reclaims the heat off the flue. So it takes off the flue and pulls it back into the house. And he swears that you can touch the flue above that and it's not as hot.
I know the ones that I've seen put on in where they had the electric fan behind it. It did blow out a lot of heat. I mean, it created, but it's always a lot of heat. Now, I don't know about touching the flue above it or anything, but I do know that it was. I mean, with it being off, the other half of the room would be a lot cooler. But when you turn that fan on, it would be like 5 or 10 minutes later, and the whole room would be all the same temperature.
Love that.
What?
What are we doing?
What are you doing?
Well, to tell you the truth, Mike, I'm not used to staying up this late. I think I'm about ready to crash.
Yeah, me too.
That's what I'm feeling.
Okay, we'll catch y'all later.
Yep, same here.
Have a good one, Michael. If we don't talk to you before, I'll talk to you Wednesday night.
Sounds good.
Wait, Dad,
Have a good night.
frost already?
Bye.